Hello and welcome to another CPL cast. Off to a great start. This is NiteKat. I'm going to be your host today. And today we have the Notorious S.C.V against the Cattlebruisers. It's their tier 1s. Now, granted, so which team is moving on to week 2 is already decided. By the games that have been cast. The Notorious S.C.V already has 10 wins, so there are not enough for the Cattlebruisers to be able to make a comeback and advance to the next round, but that does not put the Tier 1 players' games at any less quality or any less should-be-castness, however you want to word it. Also, too, I mean, the games aren't played in the order that they were cast, so, the players that were playing at the time, they didn't know that everything was already decided. We're going to go into it in just a couple minutes here. Just give me a second, because I've got something pretty cool here. Ba-bam! I got a new setup a bit. I've got a new green screen. I've got a light. There's a little bit of a weird effect happening on my headset and stuff. I've still got to play with settings a little bit, but I've got a green screen now. So this might be some of your first time seeing my face. I've used face cam before, and occasionally I've put my cam on like when my cat was in my lap and stuff, but hi. Hello. Hi, Fartcraft Butt War, the name that was almost for the team, the Notorious S.C.V. But yeah, so I can have this on now, which is pretty cool. Hoping to use this a bit more. Volcats, thank you for the follow. Go ahead and get Brood War unmuted here. Let me turn that down a little bit in my ear. And actually, let me unmute it too, because it's currently still muted. There we go. So we got a little bit of background music. So let's go ahead and take a look at the lineup for today. We do also have something a little bit special as well today. So we've got, from our K clan, we've got Kaz going up against, from the non-clan, Naka. We've got Mutaller up against Vaclavson. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. We've got my own matchup, for which we've got a little something special planned for that, because I'm typically not comfortable casting my own game in this type of environment. But we've got myself up against WhiskeyDingo. And then we've got AK going up against Arcanewinds. And finally, Yoitsflash going up against boab. We've got a lot of TVZ. Well, actually, not a lot. I guess there's just 2 of them. But that is, there is more of those than the other matchups. So I guess my statement is technically correct, which is the best kind of correct to be. But we also got a ZVZ. We have a PVZ and a TVP as well. So it'll be a lot of fun. I think we've got a bit of a longish cast ahead of us, so let me go ahead and get the first game loaded up here. Also, I've got like a whole new setup with like the scenes and everything for this. I think the last time I did a cast was all the way back in preseason, and I was actually using Streamlabs, so hopefully I don't have any hiccups, but if I do have them, I apologize in advance. Also, the maps for this week, really quick, they are Butter, Vermeer, and then, if needed, Neosylphid. All right, game 1, we have, spawning up at the top right, Naka spawning as the purple Zerg, and down in the bottom right, in the gray Zerg, we have Kaz. So Butter is a really fun map, 2-player map, and it's mirrored in a way that I don't think I had really seen prior to Butter, but granted, my experience with competitive Starcraft maps is maybe a little bit lacking, since I really only got back into the competitive scene back in CPL 7. Prior to that, I had played a little bit on iCup, but not really a whole lot. Not that APM is everything, but I think back then my APM was only like 120 something, so that was a long, long time ago, before Remastered was even a thing. So You know, I had not really seen these maps where it's mirrored along horizontally the middle here, like where I'm moving the mouse. So, you know, it's very cool to see. Looks like we're going to get a 9 pull here from Naka, and we've got actually a gas first from Kaz. I'm not familiar with gas before pull, so I'm interested to see what's going to come out of Kaz's build here. The Overlords are going to meet in the middle here. Still no pull or anything from Kaz. I'm going ahead and getting more drones. Is this going to be like a 12 pull speed or something? Oh, an 11 pull. Okay. So it's an 11 pull with the gas first. My guess is the build is going to be designed to be able to get speed very quickly after that pull finishes, but there is going to be a little bit of a buildup of speed. So maybe we're going to go straight to lair. 100 gas isn't getting spent. So we'll see where the build is going to go. Second Overlord going out. The natural choke, it looks like. That's actually where Naka's not going straight for the main, but neither is Kaz. Both of their Overlords kind of veering a little bit into... I guess it's kind of checking as well to see if like anything's going to come out, like any Zerglings or anything like that, because if you go straight in the main, you're going to miss like this pack of Zerglings, right? But if you cut your path a little bit over to the left, you have a good chance of seeing them, and we can see here, yeah, just catches them in vision, so pretty well timed there by Kaz. And yeah, that looks like we are going straight into speed and lair. We should have Zerglings just in time. I mean, there's 6 Zerglings coming here. 36 are going to pop, and we have even another set from Kaz here, so Kaz should be okay, and actually going to get just in time to sort of block this off, but Naka maybe getting... Okay, nope, okay, yeah, we do get the block, so it's going to have to stay back a little bit here. Meanwhile, back home, Naka's getting their own lair as well, and actually... Their lair was a little bit faster, but their speed was... I don't think they got speed. Yeah, those are just slow Zerglings, so... It'll be interesting to see how these two play. We've got the Spire started for Naka just a little bit faster, since the lair finished faster. But Kaz is going to have a lot more gas. Got some more drones coming out here, and there's the Spire. So, while the Spire is going to finish for Naka first, Kaz is going to have a lot more gas. And actually, Naka here wanting to keep some larva, I think, around. Spent less larva on Zergling, so went ahead and backed up to their own choke. But might need to get a little bit better. Oh, thinking about expanding here, but the Zerglings for Kaz get here and are going to deny this. Actually, there's not a lot of Zerglings here. The drone goes ahead and pops as an extractor here. Some emergency Zerglings being popped out. Naka actually has the minerals and gas that they would need to pop 3 mutas, but now they don't have the larva because they have to spend it on Zerglings, and this could be over pretty quickly here. Trying to keep that Spire alive. Yeah, the lost mining time isn't so bad, I don't think, for Naka here. Like I said, because they've got the minerals and the gas for the first step. But, ooh, every drone that gets lost is a real big pain here. Ooh, down to 7 drones right now to 12. This is not looking too great. Ooh, another drone gets taken out, so good damage there by Naka. And that gas actually finishes in all of the fighting there, and I don't think Naka intended for that to finish. Probably just did that to save the drone, but then that fighting was so intense that could not cancel it in time. Second hatchery getting started. Both sides have some Mutalisks, but now Kaz is looking in a really good position. Pretty healthy economy, but there's no Zerglings or anything, so depending on the timing of these Zerglings going in, Kaz is supply block for a moment, though. One of the Overlords that was up here, the initial one, I think, was taken out. We have Mutalisks meeting in the middle here. see if we can shift tab and make this a little easier with red and blue. So red is Cause, blue is Naka here. Yeah, I think Cause is just going to be able to come in here. I mean, it's 1-to-1. Naka's Muta is a little bit healthier, but... Oh, Cause is falling all the way back. Now, there are these Zerglings that are going to come running in, and there really isn't anything, but there's only 3. So I don't know if falling back fully is really what Cause needed to do here. Just because there was so much damage done to Naka's economy, but... Yeah, that was handled pretty well. I don't think he lost any drones here. Couple of Scourge pop here. Oh, so we don't have the alert box on this scene. Our first technical blunder.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
And the zombie even gets to walk across the screen there. So I try and center it with my mouse. There we go. Yeah, while I was doing that, we did have the beginning of an engage, and that little delay actually of pulling those mutas all the way back. Naka was able to get up to like equal Mutalisk numbers, but like still just very much behind on the drones. And Evolution Chamber was down, but like... Yeah, Cause is getting... Oh! All of the mutas for Cause go down. I thought at least the one was going to survive, and then that was probably going to be the game, but no. Somehow Naka takes out all of the Mutalisks. Looks like Naka wants to throw down a colony here and get a spore, but like... That's again another drone. Like, Naka is very, very desperate for drones here. Hey, Dada, thanks. New cam. Oh, is that... I don't have the chat. I thought I added the chat box to this scene as well, so I'll need to add that real quick. But I'll do that after this game concludes. I'll get chat on the screen. It looks like Cause is trying to scout out, see what he can do. I think there might be some play at the top of the base here. But... And Cause has been pretty in control of this game for a while, but Naka's done a really good job of just barely holding on. Good targeting of that... And yeah, just needs to dive. If he can take this Mutalisk out, just the few little Zerglings that come running in here, the drone count is falling even more. Yeah, Naka's going to go ahead and give the GG. Before I cut to the next game, really quick, I'm going to get the chat added in here because I thought I had it. I apologize, I did not. That way you all can be on screen for the next game. Set you up like that. All right. First game goes to Cause there. Yeah, losing that number of drones in the beginning really, really hurt. I have the chat box here. Why is it not? Oh, it is showing. Okay. I just couldn't see it for a second. Really, really hurt. And like that's the thing with ZVZ, like you lose any number of drones and it can become very, very difficult game for you there. Game 2 on Vermeer. The Zerg won. That is one advantage to ZVZ. The Zerg will always win, right? Alright, so game 2. On Vermeer, we have Cause spawning as the red Zerg down in the bottom left. And over in the bottom right, we have the blue Zerg Naka. Which I'm gonna try and use some positional keys here in the cast, which I noticed I was watching the recent ASL casts. I'm not all the way caught up with the Tastosis casts, but I noticed that the Observer actually does use the location keys a little bit, so I'm gonna give that a little bit of a try here. I don't know if that drone damage was really, to Naka, a result of the build choices. It looks like Naka this time is going for the gas first. Okay. Or no, oh, just an extractor trick. Really early game to switch between bases. Yeah, and I think it could be good, like, for certain situations in games, for key locations too, like if the natural choke becomes a key spot or something like that. What are the location keys? So that's the F2, F3, and F4 key. In-game and in replays, if you hit Shift F2, Shift F3, or Shift F4, it saves that location. And then you can just press F2, F3, or F4 to recall it. Ah, the cam froze? I thought I had that fixed. It looks like I don't. So that is a bit unfortunate. And I don't think I can fix it right away. So I'm going to just turn the cam off for now. Yeah, I seem to have this problem where, like, the cam will shut itself off and turn itself back on. I think it's Windows that's doing it to the camera. But the freeze looks good, though. Thank you. Yeah, I turned off a bunch of power save options to try and stop that from happening. And yesterday, I let the cam run for like 50 minutes and it ran just fine. And I'm like, okay, cool. Looks like the problem is resolved. Looks like the problem is not resolved. To just pull and replug it. I mean, that might work. The thing is, to fix it through OBS, I have to switch to the scene that's just the camera, which I don't want to do right now. So, but getting into this game here real quick, we've got looks like a second hatch at the natural for Cause and one for that was a little bit faster for Naka. So it looks like we've got mirror builds going on here. Gas is finished for Cause a little earlier though, so maybe a slightly different ordering. Like I think maybe Naka got the pull before the gas, whereas Cause got the gas before the pull. So, and the lair is starting first for Cause because the gas was a little bit faster. Studio mode, and then you can make changes to scenes without switching to the scene. See, I know how to do that in Streamlabs. I don't know how to do that in OBS. And I don't know if I can do that while streaming, but if you put the directions in chat, I can check it out. And neither players actually found each other, so the last match was on a 2-player map. This one is on a 4-player map. Naka, something seems to have tipped Naka off as to where Cause is, because those Zerglings just immediately redirected and sees these Zerglings coming out here. I'm kind of clicking around sporadically, trying to catch the action here. Start stream, start recording. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out after this game, I think. Yeah, if I deactivate and reactivate the camera through OBS, it should come back on. Yeah, like the blue light turned off when it froze. So something put the camera to sleep. Even though I've like told Windows 50 different ways, hey, don't do that. Maybe the setting reset or something. Yeah, there's a bit too many Zerglings here for Naka to handle. But I think, for Cause to handle rather. But I think Cause can save this hatchery. Just needs to wait for the right amount of Zerglings. And make sure, yeah, oh, okay, actually just going ahead and countering. And yeah, okay, Naka doing the smart thing here, sticking on this hatchery. Cause actually doesn't know, or just seeing where Naka is now, I think. Yeah, trying to get these Zerglings off, but there's just more and more Zerglings now, so this is actually going to fall. Cause, I think, was trying to save some money here. Had like 200 floating, did not use the natural larva at all to hatch more Zerglings. So maybe just gave up on that, but is doing a counter of their own. But Naka has a nice amount of Zerglings here, so I don't think the counter is going to really be able to do anything. Sunkens, though, in the main should stop Naka from taking anything else out. Yeah, was trying to maybe squeeze out some drones, it looks like, but just going ahead and canceling those. Trying to get the minerals for that Spire, and the Spire will get started for Cause. An Evolution Chamber being put down actually for Naka because the layer's not even finished yet, so recognizing that they probably won't have the anti-air via Muta in time, and going for the spore colonies. Now, we've got an attempt to push up this. Maybe there's enough Zerglings for... Oh, and actually Cause backed off of the ramp here which is going to let Naka get up on this high ground. And Naka has a little bit of room to play here before... Now, it has some time before there's going to be Mutalisks out. The Spire's only a little over half done. So, being on the high ground here, if Naka wanted to try and say, like, spend all the larvae on, like, Zerglings or something and flood, they could. But looks like instead he's just going to go ahead and drone up here. Has the colonies in place. Going to morph those into spores at the last moment. Could even check when this Spire is going to finish now. Maybe he was watching that with the Overlord and decided, okay, now's the... Actually, oh, canceled that Spore morph, yeah. So saw, okay, you know what, the Spire wasn't done just yet. I don't need the Spores immediately, so... Gonna go ahead and spend every last mineral we can on drones, and then now we can see in the production tab that those Spores are starting up. I think these are pretty well positioned spores. I'm not really seeing... There's maybe a little bit of room like here. Right, like maybe this gas, this extractor could be abused. This spore might help that a little bit though. Like if the mutas were just like here taking swipes at the extractor, might be able to knock off a gas. But the Spire is started, and here the first mutas have hatched. Gonna go ahead and push these Zerglings back, and since there are all those spores in place, not going to be aggressive, just going to go ahead and try to equalize the game a little bit, trying to get this natural up. But we can already see a huge difference in the drone count, right? And actually, I was about to say, and Kaz is banking up minerals, but Kaz is the one that's behind on drones here. And it looks like Naka's going to try and be aggressive here with these Zerglings. Going to try and deny this natural. There are only 3 units, but decides to go ahead and back off. Lowered the Zergling count a little bit for Kaz, but Kaz not spending the larva on Zergling's going to go ahead and just grow that muta count. Naka also doing, it looks like just making sure that there aren't any other bases anywhere or anything but on it they're not aware of. We do have a scout Zergling coming out and over here, just checking out what's happening. We'll get in, but not all the way to the main. So won't see the tech of choice here, which is the Spire, and now it looks like actually we are supply blocked, so we can't get our Mutalisks just yet. We do have 1 though, and a Scourge making, so... Oh, and we have the Zerglings running into the natural of Kaz again here. But they get cleaned up pretty well. They don't quite get into the main, but even if they got into the main, the Sunkens are there. Maybe could snipe like a drone, which still would be a pretty big deal if that were possible, because there's only 13 drones for Kaz. But, and I like this, with taking this natural, going ahead up to 3 hatcheries. So we can either use that to drone up, or out in the Scourge here, just getting a little scout, checking out what's there. Sees that the Mutalisks aren't there right now. Mutalisks doing a little bit of dodge, maybe trying to catch the Scourge. Ooh, nice moving shot there. But Naka has the Mutalisks of their own. It's actually 6-6 Mutalisks right now. So all in all, things have evened out pretty nicely here in terms of army counts. And Kaz, while having the smaller economy, is going to have the higher production capability with the 3 hatcheries. Where's this little drone go? Looks like Naka's making a beeline for this natural. Maybe... Oh, doesn't quite get there in time to pick off that drone, which will become an extractor. But there is no anti-air here, so gonna get some drone kills here. And this, I feel, is 100% worth it. Even if Naka loses all of their Mutalisks, they have the spores back home. They have the superior drone count. Oof, that is really, really rough there for Kaz. And there was an attempted, I think, Ling backstab here, but there's already some Mutalisks that were waiting. There's Zerglings here, so the Zerglings of Kaz not really able to do all that much. Yeah, that really, really hurt there for Kaz. But Kaz getting back up in the drone count, but while doing that, not able to really get any army. Spores are going to knock these Mutalisks back. I mean, I think there is a superior Mutalisk count for Kaz, but especially if Naka's Mutalisks are going to split like that, because, yeah, we have, what, 9, and there's 4 right now out for Naka. But even despite the superior numbers, I mean, Kaz having to spend larva on drones right now, and that's not really what you would want to be spending it on. Got some Zerglings spreading out here, or just coming up to the middle. Looks like just to maybe get a different angle to approach. I think they might have got, yeah, they might have got spotted by the Zergler, because now the Zergler is like, oh yeah, that's not actually where I want to sit. Or, oh, I've been seen, I should move. A little run in here with the Zerglings of Naka. They will reset the Zergling count for Kaz, but this drone, I don't know why. Why are you back there? He's going for gas. But the Mutalisk Cloud of Kaz will chase the Mutalisks of Naka back. They do have the spores to safely retreat back too. And we have another Zergling run in here. It looks like maybe a drone fell. I think one of those splatters was from a drone, but overall nothing too bad for Kaz. Naka's really floating a lot of money right now too. Like, they did get the 3rd hatchery, but they could probably get like a 4th hatchery and just really grow their Zergling count. Meanwhile, we've got a huge engage here in the middle. Zerglings running by the engage to the natural here. And there's enough Zerglings there to handle that though, but who's going to come out on top here? What are the upgrades? We've got 1 carapace for both sides. Knock at the very end there, trying to pull one of the bruised ones back, and with that, Kaz is going to go ahead and get the GG, and that will put Naka up 1 game. And we'll see if I can fix the camera. And why is this happening? Let me see if one of those settings undid. No, that is turned. Okay, allow the computer to turn off this device to save power is turned off. So I don't know why that's happening. Unless maybe having this application is doing that. So Naka evening the score up 1-1. Go into studio mode here. Let's see if I can do this and fix the camera. Nope, did that? No, that didn't change the scene. Okay. Oh, it looks like it's working now. Just going to the scene turned it on, I guess. Okay. Interesting. Wait, did it actually change the scene? Are you guys just seeing my camera right now? And you're here for me casting me. Well, that will not actually be happening. We've got a little treat for that. Yeah, I don't know if the scene actually changed there or not. Hopefully it didn't. It looks like it didn't because the stinger didn't play. And once again, though, the Zerg wins. We're tied up 1-1. So we will get game 3, which is going to be on Neosylphid. Actually, I'm curious about something real quick. Let me come here real quick. I'm drinking something that's green. Is it going to get picked up by the green screen? It kind of is. It looks... My face through the drink looks kind of sickly. That's hilarious. It's just Mountain Dew. Not Code Zero. Mountain Dew Zero? I think it's just Mountain Dew Zero is what it's called. But yeah, that's pretty funny. Alright, let's go ahead and get the 3rd game rolling here. Kaz vs Naka, game 3 out of the best of 3. Winner takes all the marbles. All of the pride. let's get into it. And I got to turn my camera back on this scene. Hopefully we're not frozen. And hopefully we don't freeze. Stop that, camera. All right, we've got Kaz spawning at the top as the red Zerg. And down in the bottom right, we've got Naka spawning as the blue Zerg. I look like a recording from the 80s. Oh, like when it was through the drink. Like some kind of bad security footage or something. Yeah, I'm hoping that the camera doesn't freeze again. I'm keeping an eye on that blue light. I'm watching you, camera. Better not turn off again. Yeah, so I got a new camera because the camera that I had before didn't really have a whole lot of options to mess with settings. Got a ring light so I could have a little bit better lighting, and I got the green screen behind me. So really wanted to invest a bit into the quality of the stream and get things better. And I think it's nice to be able to have my face actually on the stream when I'm like casting and when I'm playing Starcraft or any other games and stuff like that. Yeah, it's the color spectrum. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because actually I was playing Animal Crossing recently. Actually, it was last night I was playing Animal Crossing, and I was farting around with the photo options, and one of them was like security camps. That's what made me think of it. Very unique. So it looks like we've got a similar build from Naka here. We've got the pool and the gas. And then this time, and we've got the hatchery first, but out of cause, with the pool and then the gas. I want to say these are similar builds to last game, like the last two games, but it all kind of mixes around a little bit in my head because I'm not super familiar with CVC builds. So like the intricacies of what the different builds exactly look like and what I've seen in games I've already cast, my brain is just like, I don't know, man. Zerg makes the little buggy noises. That's what I know. Look at that handsome man. Played Spider-Man in the Spider-Man film, right? I mean, there's so many different Spider-Verses. Maybe. Or maybe that's still to come. Looks like Naka gets the first scout with the Overlord. But that should give Naka's position away. The angle that Overlord came in. And I mean, also to the fact that this Overlord from Kaz is sitting here and sees that, hey, there's nothing here. That kind of also gives it away. Ooh, a Zergling actually gets in. For a moment, it looked like Kaz was going to pull all of his Zerglings back, but... I mean, I don't know that the Scout really does a whole lot. It's maybe a little bit annoying. Oh, wait, if it gets a... Oh, okay, I was going to say, if it gets a drone, though, that would be pretty huge. But yeah, I mean, it... Like, when you're at lower levels, things like, or when you're looking at pro levels, things like that was like, well, he already had the Overlord and he already scouted and saw pretty much everything that was going on. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess it confirms that after the Overlord left, this didn't become a lair, or there was another third hatchery or something like that gone down. I mean, actually, that not becoming a lair is to tell that Zergling speed was done. So Zergling speed's almost done for Kaz, and Naka does not have Zergling speed. But on the lower levels, there is an advantage as well, as it just kind of taxes the other player with their multitasking, because they have to react to the fact that there is that Zergling in there, because if you don't, it could start picking off drones. And that reaction alone could also just throw their build off, you know. Tier 1, that's probably less likely to happen, but, you know, you look for every little advantage. Like, StarCraft tends to be a game decided on the mistakes that the players make through the game. And so, you know, any potential mistake that you can induce your opponent into making without... Oh, the Sunken here actually really messing with Naka's gas gathering, but then he stops killing it. Catman from Earth 349. I wonder why he stopped killing it. He has superior Zergling count. He brings those two back. There's also a drone down here. It's kind of chilling. Maybe gonna start a hatchery? I mean, we've got 500 minerals. We just popped 2 more drones. So we're not gonna have a full set of larvae for Mutalisks. Okay, now we're back to killing it. Maybe we meant to kill it and accidentally stopped the Zerglings or something like that. That can happen sometimes. You know, this time, so last game, Naka was the one that was going for the spores. In this game, it's Cause. So we've actually got like a flip of the roles between games 2 and game 3 here. Where Naka's going to get the faster Mutalisks out and really be able to push this back. Maybe engaging with the Zerglings a little faster than they needed to. Maybe this drone is going to go ahead and take the natural. So going ahead and chasing the Zerglings back here. The drone got kind of caught up by the Zerglings, and it's just kind of sitting there. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that is going to go ahead and take the natural. So this is pretty much a flip of game 2 in terms of who is in which role. Spire almost halfway done, though, for Cause, so looking to be in a pretty good spot, I think. The spore coverage looks pretty decent to me. This is maybe exposed on the extreme end if you've got really, really sharp muta control. Maybe these bottom minerals, like the very corner here, would be exposed and not defended by the spore. This Sunken's going to go ahead and protect this spore colony. This spore colony not really protected, but you'd have to get through the mineral line too, so... As a non-Zerg player, I'd say it looks pretty okay. A Zergling does get in for Cause, which is going to get a little bit of a scout here and then get quickly cleaned up. The gas already ready to go in some drones long distance mining from it. Maybe sent just a little bit early. I also like too that Naka took the initial Mutalisks, knows that they've got an advantage there, that their Mutalisks are just going to be faster and there aren't going to be fielded for a little bit for Cause, and didn't just rush in, and instead just kind of scouted around, just making sure that there weren't any surprise bases anywhere. Really made sure that they understood. And yeah, oh, this position is one actually I hadn't really even thought about. Gonna go ahead and snipe that Overlord. Doesn't quite cause a supply block, and that's gonna go ahead and become a spore now. Ooh, these drones on the transfer, though, they wisely turn around. They're like, oh, wait, excuse me. And yeah, the Mutalisks are able to cancel that spore. But Mutalisks coming out now for Cause. There could be Scourge coming out. Naka can't tell if there is or not because they can't see what's coming out of those eggs. There's also Zergling kind of camping here in the trees, just having a little party of its own. Not sure if it's a forgot about Zergling or if that is there to watch. Okay, it was not forgot about. It was just kind of sitting there. Scouting that area out a little bit, hiding under the tree. And it wisely moved right before the Mutalisks flew directly over this spot, so that's kind of funny to see. Naka coming back up with some Scourge and with the Mutalisks. Gonna see if there's anything that they can poke. Well, they've got, okay, Zergling defense here. Back home. They are behind in the drone count, but again, I think that is the product. Similar to what we saw last game, but for Cause, since they were on one hatchery for a lot longer. Zergling can see into the Matrix. I think they used that as a line in one of the Round of 8 ASL casts. Tasteless or Ortosis said something about one of the players seeing into the Matrix. I don't know if that's where you're taking that from, but that just was what it reminded me of. I don't remember who they were talking about, so no spoilers being given here. A little bit of harass on this extractor. I actually could take this extractor out. So I like these 2 spores where they're placed, but maybe could use a third spore like here. The evolution chamber, I think, is a bit exposed too. That's actually going to knock Cause off and Cause just immediately starting it, but it's not really protected. Like, they could just be sniped again. But Naka's going to go ahead and back off. Some of the Mutalisks a bit bruised. We've got some more that could replace. We've also got some Scourge. Looks like they're just going to return home, though. Gather up. We do have some Zerglings running by here to the little staging tree area. And they're going to go ahead and try and run in here and do some damage. Ooh, actually, this could do something because the Zerglings for Naka just left. There are Mutalisks, but could maybe score some drone kills. And Naka's drone count is not the greatest right now. One drone goes down. Interrupts the mining here. Okay, so only one drone. Not too bad for Naka, but that was just unfortunate timing on Naka's side. Looks like we've got 11 Mutalisks here for Kaz and 13 maybe for Naka. Looks like there was one that didn't get selected there. So Naka is definitely ahead in the Mutalisk count. I think some Scourge may be connected with some Scourge, or they just got eliminated by the Bouncing Glaives. Zerglings running back to... just running back home, it looks like. There are some Zerglings trying to counter here, but it's a pretty small group. So the Zerglings for Naka should be able to take care of it. I think they get spotted by the Scourge there, and actually Naka's just going to go out and meet those Zerglings head on. No player trying for a third or anything yet. There's a few spotter Zerglings out for Oz. So really the places that would be good to take a third for like Naka are kind of being spotted by Kaz, and I don't think really can be taken easily by Naka. Got some more Scourge coming up here. The Mutalisk flock here. It looks like two groups of Mutas for Naka. The scouting Scourge go and get picked off there. Like, Kaz really can't get out. And again, Kaz is now kind of falling into the same situation that Naka was in last game in terms of the bank. You know, maybe could throw down a third hatchery, which... or it does have... sorry, Kaz does have 3 hatcheries. Because they threw a second one in the main, but they could maybe, like, you know, throw down a fourth. I mean, you can only spend so much gas, and I guess Zerglings only have so much utility. Let's take a look at the upgrades real quick if I can find an air unit for that as an attack with Naka. So 1-1 for Naka. Looks like weapons is being... okay, so 1-1 is on the way for Kaz, but right now just 1 Carapace. Zerglings getting intercepted here. Again, the Zerglings out of position a little bit for Naka, but no real damage going to be suffered here. I guess that... okay, that was over here. I think I heard a... ooh, almost baited the Scourge there into attacking. Bot telling you to leave. Nah, it just does Peepo leave sometimes. It also does Peepo arrive sometimes. Just has a few random tidbits that it'll post the chat in response to chat messages happening. It also has some fun little commands, like you can ask it to roll for you. It'll give you a random number. And you can get names from it off of the the 1990 US Census. If you need a name for like a character or something. It doesn't, I didn't give it a help feature though. It's a homebrewed bot, so. It's to be our deep secret. Okay, so it looks like Naka here is going into a third base. Zergling tries. Ooh, almost gets that turned out to 7 health. But, like, we've got some pretty large air flocks here. What would, like, so you've got a gaggle of geese. What would a Mutalisk group be like? I mean, crows are a murder. I guess you could call Mutalisks a murderer. Because they murder things. A murder of mutas. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A fall? Oh, Flapple is what you meant. Okay. Could do Flapple too. I kind of like a murder of mutas. Both players have some decent vision out on the map too right now. There is an Overlord that could be picked off if it gets found by Kaz, and Kaz is kind of like has some Zerglings here, but going after that. Oh, like all of the Scourge. Oh, you don't really want to use your Scourge on the Overlords, but I guess they get the job done pretty quickly. Storm of Muta, since they can cast Psy Storm sometimes. Yeah, the Mutalisk count's really, really high here. It looks like, oh, Oz did a dive into the main here, but ooh, gonna just be able to get away with those Mutalisks. So the approach angle from Naka, they're not quite good enough to really trap those Mutalisks in. But we do have a catch here over on the left side. Naka was going to investigate that other main since the Overlord got taken out. And catches the Mutalisk sleeping there. See if those Mutalisks might dive back in. This third base gets found by a Zergling. There's nothing else to defend it. The Mutas are going to dive in here, but the Mutalisks for Naka are right nearby, so they could swing in here. Ooh, that is a lot of Mutalisks, though. And this is not the full Mutaflock. We've got 1-1 against 1-1 here. There's also something going on in the main. Zerglings running in the main. Looks like Kaz is going to win this exchange. Some more Mutalisks for Kaz coming in. Meanwhile, the drone count for Naka, it did actually get ahead, but some are dying. The Mutalisks for Naka cleaned up here at the third. This third is going to fall. And very suddenly, just like that, Kaz is looking very in control of this game. Could even probably take a third of their own. Very nicely done there by Kaz. But Naka's not out of it yet, just kind of needs to restabilize. But losing those drones hurts a fair bit. And actually, Naka kind of gas heavy. Could maybe switch some gas drones for a little bit back onto minerals. But ooh, we have another fly-in coming in here. There's no spores. One lone Mutalisk like, I will kill them all! I will not kill them all. But in the main, 4 drones going down here. Somehow 11 drones did not one-shot, or 11 drones. 11 Mutalisks did not one-shot that drone, but now that the Mutalisk cloud gets thrown out to the main there, we've got the second cloud. So yeah, Kaz can just kind of ping-pong here. Draw the Mutalisks into one spot. Looks like a couple of Mutalisks might have got caught there by Scourge. Okay, it looks like Naka now going to go ahead and try to get some spores of their own, which, yeah, I think they need at this phase. We do have a hive out for Kaz, but we don't have any hive tech that I can see. There's a queen, though. So maybe looking to get some ensnare going. I believe ensnare both slows and... or both slows movement and slows down attack speed. We've got our murder of Mutas for both sides, just kind of roaming around a little bit. Looks like Naka's murder of Mutas coming up here on the right side. Gonna just miss. Now, I'm wondering if this is a little bit premature there. There's no spores in the main. There's only the one spore at the natural. Overlord gets picked off here, but if Kaz decided to counter, like, it would take a little bit for Naka's Mutas to get home, and there wouldn't be anything to defend. Yeah, play could be a viable hive tech play as well. Or Chokelax bounce. Well, these Mutaglaves don't. But yeah, Kaz really just has a lot of control over the map right now. Able to have like 2 separate large Mutaflocks. I almost wonder though, like, I mean, there are a lot of Scourge for Naka, but I almost wonder if Kaz just like condensed their Mutas, like, would they be able to just overwhelm and just, you know, clear a base, for example? Because there really aren't any spores except for the one in the natural that we've seen from Naka. So I almost wonder if Kaz could do that. We do have Consume on the way. So there is a Defiler mount somewhere, and there is a third... Oh, okay, it was up there. I might have missed it because the Overlord was parked over it. I'm watching on the mini-map where the flocks are going here, or the murders. Looks like this third has been found. There's the corpse of a Zergling there at it. Looks like Kaz just wanted to check this mineral only, make sure there wasn't anything there. Circling, watching the base above. Naka getting taken out. And the replacement Zergling's like, I think you sent me a little early. Oh, but actually gets left alive by Naka, so it gets spared there. Ooh, the group with the queen here. Up, it's got the it might join up with the other groups. Looks like Naka wants to take out this third base, and Kaz is just gonna go ahead and let it fall here. Maybe gonna try and save this drone, or just auto ran there. I'm kind of surprised that Kaz isn't engaging with this, but I guess that is one quick way to like easily lose, and also the there wouldn't be a way to get the defilers there for the fight, so. Kaz, I think, is like really looking to maybe use Ensnare, get a plague off, like, and just kind of dominate that way instead of leaving it up to, well, how do the glaives bounce, you know, how do Scourge get good connections, or, you know, things like that. But they're such large, I mean, they're an equal supply though, with about equal drones, so there's a chance that Naka actually has more. Ooh, there was a juicy plague though. Gonna pick, I mean, those mutas were already plagued, but ooh, that's really gonna bruise them up now. Naka still just on hive tech. Those plagued mutas engage in any kind of fighting. There's a lot of Scourge though, so Naka's really gonna have to rely on good Scourge connections, I think, at this point. Chats have the worst timing. Yeah, I don't run, like, they just run every hour, so I don't, like, choose when to run them. Looks like we've got the big engage here. We've got the ensnare. Yeah, I think the drone count for Naka just falling very quickly here. I think the plagued Muta is just not able to really do much. Yeah, Naka just doesn't have a lot of minerals or gas right now, and given an FF instead of a GG, there's one ladder off, so give the benefit of the doubt. Kaz is going to take the series 2-1 with the sick and snare and plagues there. So really fun series to watch there. Some decently long ZVZs, and of course the Zerg wins. I mean, so hey, you can't really complain too much, right? You're a Zerg player when the Zerg wins. Our next series, though, is going to be a Zerg versus Terran. We've got Mutaller going up against Vaclavson. We're going to get that game one loaded up here. It will be taking place on Butter. Let me get the lovely Terran music for this one as well. We've got Vaclavson spawning as the red Terran down in the bottom right. And up at the top right, we have Mutaller spawning as the blue Zerg. Butter, I think, is an interesting TVZ map. You know, it's got smaller base count, sort of, so like it puts a little bit more pressure on the Zerg, especially there's no like one base that you can claim that like gives you a free fourth or necessarily an easy fourth to take. So it's kind of interesting. Like there's a lot of avenues though as well, so like you would think, oh well, the smaller base count for Zerg, maybe mech will be a bit more powerful on this map, but with all of the avenues that units can take through the map to travel, it's not necessarily the case. It looks like we're going to get a wall off here for Vaclavson. Very nicely timed SCV going out there, getting there just in time to get that depot started. And we have the Overlord from Mutaller coming down across the map here. Looks like we are going to get a 12 pull probably out of Mutaller. And we get the barracks started here. The SCV bounces nicely on the outside, so we can go ahead and get that scout with it if we want. But it looks like that SCV is going on its Union smoke break, and we'll just be sitting in the natural instead. Drone scout coming out for Mutaller. And the SCV's Union break is over. It's going to go ahead and go up there now. We don't have a gas though. We just have a second Rax coming out. So it looks like I'm gonna guess that we'll get either like a Rax fast expand, or maybe we'll get like a, I mean, we could get a 1 base 2 Rax play, but the money is building up right now. So to me that says we're probably going to expand once we confirm what Zerg is doing. We get in, I don't think we quite see the spawning pool, but we can probably tell from the Zerg, from the hatchery health that, you know, the spawning pool is done yet. We see it now. So we're going to go ahead and lift this Rax and just go ahead and go out here and make our base. There we go. Pool finishes up. We've got a couple Zerglings coming out from Mutaller here. Grab a quick drink here. Stainless steel straws are awesome, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. They're like the best for... Oh, the camera froze again. It froze right as I was looking away to grab the drink, didn't it? Really, camera? Maybe I can do that. Will it come back? There we go. Okay. I figured out how I can reset it. I have to figure out why it's doing that. Maybe it's the way I have it added to the scene. But anyway. Looks like we've got Zerglings chasing the scout around. We see the lair timing, so we've got a 2-patch play happening here. We do have our second Rax coming down. Looks like the gas was started first. And we've got our academy going. Transfer of the SCVs. We're throwing down a depot to make the choke just a little bit smaller, just in case there's anything like a link flood gonna happen.
Hello, my friend.
Everything looking pretty standard and normal right now. Decent marine count going. Gas is gonna be maybe a little bit low. We could get stim in 1 medic, or we could do stim and then a couple of Zerglings actually get in because Zergling speed. Actually, I'm kind of surprised those got in. Gonna actually pick off a SCV as well and interrupt the mining a little bit. Got like 3 idols. They'll get picked up though here probably. Engineering base started. Zerglings are going to fall back, and now here we do have the move out from the Terran. Got the first comsat started, natural comsat not quite started yet. Actually got an SCV moving ahead, which is kind of interesting to see. We are going to go ahead and get 2 Sunkens. We're going to maybe try and see if 2 is enough to survive. I mean, a group of Marines with 2 medics can take 2 Sunkens, but if you've got enough Zerglings, which these are speed Zerglings, so there's the stim. But yeah, there's enough Zerglings to push this back. And this should get cleaned up. There really is no escaping the speed Zerglings. Speedlings are just gonna tear those apart. The fire bats try to come up. They're like, hey guys, what's up? Oh, you're all that survived. Well, we're just going to charge ahead anyway. Oh no, they were on move command. The one gets box selected and issued an attack command, but that's very unfortunate to see. The fire bats really didn't get to do much damage there. Third for Mutaller is up. And SCV is getting pulled here, and the Zerglings are going to come in, get a good surface area on the Marines. A couple of Zerglings actually target the SCV that was building the bunker, so that will be delayed. But it's pretty nicely deflected by Vaclavson here, but there were quite a few SCVs that went down. Avatar NiteKat. Oh, did it? It turned off again that quick? I don't know why it's doing that. This is like back in the day, like 2 years ago when this would always happen for Artosis, when it would freeze on him all the time. But now the turrets were late though with all of that action. The engineering bay has been done for a little while. +1 is on the way, but yeah, this is going to be really tough. I think these two turrets might finish. Wheeler kind of going back and macroing there, not hammering as hard as he could with the mutas here. Taking a bit of damage on them. But yeah, we're all the way down to 19 SCVs, and that's never a good situation for Terran. Yeah, I have to like turn it off and back on. We happy few? Oh boy. Just the clip name was for the link there. It's in the chat. So we're diving in here a little bit. There really isn't a whole lot of... I mean, well, actually, yeah, this could be taken out. Now the Mulisks are just right on top of the barracks here. There's enough Marines to push them away, but actually the SimCity blocking the Marines. They can't make it through this tight little spot. So it's giving some play here for the Mulisks, but ooh, taking a lot of damage there. Did lower the Marine count, but that was a lot of damage on the mutas, and we lost a few there, so... The map flavor text will just be nice. I mean, I think Mutaller got the better end of the exchange there, but that could have gone better for Mutaller, I think. Looks like the third gas is up, just looking at the mini-map here. Oh no, okay, it is coming up, so we're still on a 2-gas Zerg. Going ahead and throwing down that turret again. Gonna go ahead and move the starport. Or, oh, because we built the turret here, the tank was gonna pop here and get trapped. We don't have a science facility yet. We have a couple scans going down, one in the main, checking out what's happening. And one in the natural. We see the Hydralisks start to morph, so... Would be safe to assume that lurkers are going to be en route soon. And we can see here that lurker aspect is on the way. You know, let's look at the dive in here again. Still not seeing a science facility, but we do have a control tower. We don't have an armory either. So we can't really get Volks. The Marine's going to come in here and push this back. I do get one Mutalisk. Bruise another. Got a damaged Mutalisk going home. A couple replacement ones that are actually, well, one of them is like the same health as the one that went back home. But it is good if you've got more than 11 Mutalisks. Just go with the one set of Mutalisks and then rotate out damaged ones. We're going to go ahead and target down the control tower here, but there's the facility. Okay, so it was started a little bit ago. Control tower goes down, which will delay any vessels, and yeah, just Mutaller being very brutal with these Mutalisks, but while doing so, the minerals and the gas are banking up a bit. Looks like we have Carapace on the way. That's going to be ground Carapace. We're going to get the +1 attack. We're losing a few Mutalisks here, though. Trying to grab the Mutalisks here. So we were at 11, and now we're down to 9. But really, he's getting a lot of value. for these Mulists. They're going to go ahead and return home for now. But they're really dealing a lot of damage here. Looks like the 4th base getting started, and my eye is, like, getting really itchy. And, of course, that's the frame it's going to freeze on, right? And I see the blue light blink. So now we're back. Good thing I wasn't doing that with my middle finger. I would have frozen me flipping you guys off. Worker count tells the story. Yeah, we've been very, very low on workers. Dropped all the way down to 19 at one point here. We've got another flock of Mutalisks coming in with several fresh ones. And really, like, if a Zerg is going this heavy on the Muta harass, like, I know you want to try to save money and spend as little as possible on turrets, but if they're really just hammering you this hard, it's not a bad idea to start throwing more turrets. There's also this little pocket down here that the Mutalisks can abuse, so you typically want to get, like, a turret down here at least. But, like, you know, throwing a 3rd turret somewhere around here, and we look at we went from, like, 30 some workers all the way to 24, so sure, we're down to 6 Mutalisks here, but that was, I think, well worth it for Mutaller. But, like, throwing an extra turret here, throwing, like, an extra turret or 2 here, since you've got 3 total, we've got 4 here. So we did throw down an extra one here, but yeah, like, if they're going this heavy on it, don't be afraid to throw down extra turrets. Because you kind of need them to help push the Mutalisks back. I mean, in this case, like, I know, like, yeah, Mutaller's not all in. Like, he's got the 3rd, he's got a 4th, he's obviously got a clear path to transition. He's getting actually a greater Spire here. There's a Queen's Nest, though. That's, again, hidden by an Overlord. So, I can't, there we go. So I can't even select it. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna try and stash these Mutalisks over here, let them heal up a little bit, and convert them into Guardians. And we're trying to move out here, I guess, using the stem to try and just get faster movement here. But everything's kind of conga lining, so it's gonna be slowed down by the tanks. A Zergling did spot this move out, so we'll see how Mueller's gonna respond. This is actually a pretty large move out. Despite everything that's happened, we're going to be able to siege against these, and there's no... We have a hive, but we're getting a greater spire. Okay, we do have the defiler then, but we don't have any defilers. I don't know if we have consume. Without that sort of tech, this push is looking very scary. Hey, Whiskey, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you can catch the rest of the cast on the VOD later. Oh, and I froze again. Hello, I'm back. Hi. But yeah, the attempt to break this goes down. We did have a defense matrix on a tank. Nidus goes down, and the natural's gonna fall here. Guardians are morphing here at the natural and are going to be a bit of a problem, but, like, you just lift this, run the SCVs away, make a Wraith, and you should be okay. But yeah, without Swarm, like, these Lurkers just... There's not even a need to irradiate. Here come the Guardians, though, in the natural here. I mean, Zerg still have 3 base, so they're not out of it just yet. And they have a good number of Guardians here. It would take a little while for a Wraith to clean this up. I'm going to go ahead and bring the tanks forward to the front. They're not going to do anything against these Guardians. Oh, well, I mean, I was going to say you need to lift the... There are these Scourge here, though, so the Scourge actually will back those up a bit. That's actually going to be a little harder to deal with than I thought, because I forgot about the Scourge. We're going to try and erase her, but there are Scourge here. Oh, the Scourge actually, if they can't connect fast enough, they're getting taken out by the Irradiates, but they do make enough connection and take out the vessels, which leaves the ground army without any detection, so they could be vulnerable to Lurkers. And now actually we've got the Guardians coming up here. There's still a vessel here. Can the Marines get on top? Oh no, we lift the, or we unburrow. These Guardians are in a nice spot, though I don't think the Marines can actually get them. Unless they get all the way, like, over here. Natural for Terran, though, has been cleared. And with this force getting cleaned up, this is looking more and more like, okay, yeah, there's the GG by Vaclavson. That was looking, though, for a moment like Terran might take the win there, but Mutaller able to pull out the win. And we'll take game 1 on Butter. Up next, game 2 on Vermeer. Which, I think there are some walls you can do, so we'll see if Vaclavson wants to go for another wall to open or not. Because some Terrans like wall all the time, and some just wall situationally, and some don't wall at all. But let's get game 2 loaded up here. And actually, I'm going to try something while we're in the beginning stages of this game, but let's get the players introduced. Mutaller for NSCV, spawning as the red Zerg, and for the Cattlebruisers, we've got Vaclavson spawning as the blue Terran over on the left side of the map. So, this is something that's kind of, I find interesting on these maps that are more than one player. So, like, I was initially taught that the way that you're supposed to scout as Terran is scout away from your natural, right? So, Vermeer, your natural at this bottom left spawn is over here to the right. And so, because Zerg should scout in your direction, like, you should scout this way. But at some point, I think that idea has changed, and I don't really see that being said anymore. And that you should scout in the direction of your natural, so you should scout this way instead. In the advantages I was told to going this way, to the right, as opposed to up in this position, is that if Zerg is bottom right, and they get first scout on you, make sure you know their position, but you don't know what they are doing. And so that's more detrimental than scouting to the right and not getting first scout. Because then they shouldn't get first scout if they're like over here or over here. So I find that kind of interesting. Instead, we've just got a normal opening here from our Terran player. There's our player going for that 12 hatch again. I'm going to send out a drone scout as well. And I'm going to see if I can add this camera a slightly different way. Yeah, and it just froze. And it froze just as I was talking about it. It knew. Me at, I'm huge. Oh, I'm tiny. Well, not tiny. Back in about the same spot here. A little bit bigger. There we go. So we're going to try this. I have it added directly as a source instead of a scene. We'll see if it continues to freeze or not. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't know what's like making it turn off sometimes. I can't figure it out. It looks like Vaclavson, though, went ahead and scouted up to the top left, so we're going to scout here. Now, the dangers of this, if you do this scout pattern, or any scout pattern against Zerg, really, and you don't get first scout, you really, really need to send out a second scout, because there could be Zerglings coming across, and you don't know it, and you could just get killed that way. So it's a really good idea. Well, even if you scout to the right, if you don't get first scout, like, you need to send out a second scout. Because there could be Zerglings just on the way to kill you. Like, right now... Okay, the Zerglings are going to turn around to try and kill the scout. Actually, I undid the wrong vision. I was trying to undo Mutallers to see if Vaclavson saw the Zerglings or not. You pre-pull SCVs to ramp if you haven't scouted for whatever reason. Yeah, you can do that too if you're not if you don't have your CC started on the low ground yet. Like, that can be maybe good to do, like, just in case there's a cross spawn and the Zerglings are coming cross map, right? It's situational for if you should pre-pull or not. There is a Marine that's a little bit out of position here. Gonna try and snipe this SCV. Ooh, gets the SCV, but the command center finishes just in time, so. Doesn't really delay much there, unfortunately, and I think that kind of works in our Terran player's favor here. We've got the second racks coming down. We've got the Academy coming down. Last time we saw some 2 racks tech, so I wonder if we will see the tech up happen at the 2 racks mark as well. We didn't really get to see, I think, if this is like 2, 2.5, or 3 hatch. Well, we saw that it's not 2 hatch because we did see at least this hatchery when the SCV got in, right? But because we scouted so late, that's the other thing too. If you continue with just 1 scout, so you scout here, and then you finally get here, you've pretty much missed the important timings with your scout. At least if you get a second scout, like, because, like, so you send out a second worker and you're guaranteed to get second scout, essentially. You have an opportunity to maybe see the timings of things and reason out what they're doing and when you need to throw your engineering bay down. But we're getting the engineering bay now, so we're going to be safe no matter what the build is. We have our comm stats on the way, so we'll be able to scan and check the situation as well. We do have a lurker den, and we are getting Hydralisk, so I think this is 3 hatch lurker. I missed myself kind of the gas timing, but I believe that this is 3 hatch lurker. Oh, Wise Automatic! I haven't had one of you guys in forever, man. I haven't had a bot like that hit my channel. And report. Spam, scams, or bots. Account is suspected of being a bot. Bot spamming links to buy services. Submit report. Man, I haven't got to do that one. Block this user, yes, and close. Thank you. While that was going on, we did have the bio move out, which will force the Sunkens here. And this is exactly the response that you want to do. 2-3 hatch lurker. You want to get your bio. You have the time. You get your lurker or your bio forces out here. You shouldn't be able to break anything. But what you're kind of do, it's like the reverse of what Protoss tries to do to Terran, right? If Terran tries to be aggressive in the early game with tanks and such, you try to make them siege and leapfrog. So that's pretty much what this bioforce is meant to do. It's meant to force Zerg to move out a little bit, burrow, unburrow, move back forward a little bit, burrow, unburrow, and that just buys the Terran time. So we do have the factory on the way. We should see a shop. We should see some tanks. That's typically what you're going to need in response to sort of early lurker aggression plays. Here we're gonna move out, but the thing with this though is you need to be able to react quickly. We lose a little bit of bio, but we don't lose too much. But yeah, you have to really keep an eye on the minimap. Now, one thing that's a little bit scary with, I think, this map in particular for Mir is that this path is now open. So Vaclavson could miss some units moving around there. We are, whoops, now we don't see anything. But yeah, we have the lurkers just moving up forward here. Really needs to stim it. Oh, but stim's not done yet. Stim just finishes, so we couldn't stim and run away. But now we don't have any medics. And this lurker force is out. At this point, I think the bio just needs to turn home. Yeah, stim was late, so unfortunately, like, you really need stim to be able to run away from the lurkers. Like, the moment they start burrowing, you just run away while stimmed. You should take minimal losses, but yeah. We're getting our lurker defense up now, but I don't know if it's going to be in time here. Mutaller could just dive in on this. One bunker does finish. The turret's not quite done yet. There's so many lurkers here, though. Oh, I hate when that happens to the SCV goes in the bunker instead of repairing. Yeah, there's just so much here. They could force the lift of this. Actually, oh, there's nothing blocking the ramp, though. Could just, yeah, gonna walk right up. Oh, man, that's gonna be game, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. When you leave when there's an add-on building, it just cancels. I didn't know that. But yeah, once the lurkers just get on top of the racks, that's going to be game over. Like, in a situation like that, you really need to start thinking, okay, I just can't let those lurkers up. But there were so many, I don't think there was much that could have been done there. So, very nicely played by Mutaller. And that's actually going to give Mutaller the series at 2-0. And up next is my series against WhiskeyDingo. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of a break here because we actually have a little something special here. So, I know I was going to be casting this group. I know I'm in this group. Not super comfortable casting myself. So originally I asked Forte, hey, you want to co-cast with me? And he's not available at this time right now. So he wasn't able to do it, but I did get him to cast my series in advance. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to that. Scandalous, the blatant bias. Oops. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mute Brood War. We're going to go ahead and switch over to the pre-recorded cast of my series, and then I'll be back when that wraps up. It's not reruns, no. But all right, here we go.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Forte here. I'm going to be filling in for NiteKat.
Hold on, do you guys not hear it? It's showing up that it's, hold on. Oh. I see the problem. I'll restart it, hold on. Other than total silence. Yeah, I had a setting a little bit off here, so we should be good now. Go ahead and restart that.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Forte here. I'm going to be filling in for NiteKat because,
can you guys hear it?
well, this is his series versus WhiskeyDingo, so a little awkward to cast your own series. So I'm just going to fill in for this particular series. We're up 2-0 for NiteKat's team, and we're going to get into the third series here. We'll fire up this game. Alright, and the first map's going to be on Butter. It's spawning in the top side, on the right side. As the Black Terran, it's going to be Nom's NiteKat. And then on the bottom right side of Butter, as the Green Zerg, it's going to be WhiskeyDingo. And a nice good luck, have fun. Nice and mannered. Good luck, have fun. Oh, frowny face. Maybe there's a little bit of lag. But anyway, two players that I'm pretty familiar with. 16 low, yeah, okay. So, yeah, probably expect a little bit higher. We'll get into the CPL series, and we're sending out an S.C.V for NiteKat. Looks like we're going to be doing a wall off here at the choke, depot on top, which is correct for Terran players that are new. If you want to wall off, depots should always go on top. That way units will stop. And if you put the depot below, units will flow. They'll fit in between. So always remember to put the depot on top, just like this. And on WhiskeyDingo's side, we see an Overlord coming out, 2 more drones, so perhaps indicating a 12-hatch opener. Yeah, and there goes the drone. Want to send the drone out at about 200 minerals after you have your 12 supply. And it should get there right as you get 300 minerals, plant the hatchery down. Nice economical opening for Zerg. Now the interesting part for WhiskeyDingo here is he's opted to make a drone afterward, which is a little bit on the greedy side. For typical 2 hatch openings, it's often the sequence of 12, 11, 10 hatch pool gas. But if you opt for the extra drones, that helps with a 2.5 hatch opening, which is a little bit more economical, but you get slower mid-game tech, so slower Mutalisks and or Lurkers. And up at the top, WhiskeyDingo's scout comes in, sees the wall off, and NiteKat has taken his gas. So we're probably going to see a factory go down. There it is. Now, interesting is what will be the follow-up. Will it be a vulture play? Will we see a starport go down? We'll have to keep our eyes out for that. And typical, what I believe was a 12-12-12 opening for WhiskeyDingo, which will indicate a 2.5 hatch. If you get the extra drones in between each of the structures, you end up becoming much more mineral rich, which allows you to afford a 3rd hatchery sometime after your layer. So we see the layer gets started for WhiskeyDingo, and he is around 17 out of 18 supply. The initial links come out, the Overlord will pop, he'll probably make a few more drones, and we'll see a hatchery go down. Alright, let's check out what NiteKat is doing, and it is going to be a starport follow-up. So this is a 1-1-1 opening. Very interesting. We might be looking forward to some Wraith play here, which could be fun. We see the first Vulture is done. Probably lift that barracks and send the Vulture out. Still mining gas. There goes the Vulture. WhiskeyDingo is already prepared for it. Yeah, a proper response here at the natural for Zerg is to drop down that sunken colony, because we can't get into Terran's base to see if he's taken gas or not, so we kind of have to assume, which is good. But in the middle of the map, you know, these 2 lings catch up with the Vulture. Vulture takes them out, so WhiskeyDingo now knows, but he's safely placed that sunken, so this initial Vulture is not going to be able to accomplish very much. And inside Zerg's base, there we see that 3rd hatchery go down along with the Spire. So 2.5 hatch Spire for WhiskeyDingo. And a 1-1-1 expand for NiteKat. Now getting that Wraith. Getting the engineering bay for turrets. A safety bunker at the natural. And things look pretty standard and safe on both sides. WhiskeyDingo even electing to get an additional sunken colony. Well, it's just a creep colony now, but... Wraith takes out that Overlord over the cliff. That's a good pick. That's also going to supply block WhiskeyDingo. And wow, NiteKat actually going for a quick science facility. So... early vessel play going to come out here. And now this Wraith is down in Zerg's natural, and there's not really a response for it yet. The supply block, the initial supply block was so effective that Whiskey actually had to make more Overlords instead of being able to utilize the Spire. So we're getting a lot of extra Overlords here. In fact, this is going to be the 3rd Overlord kill here, and it's going to supply block Whiskey again. And he was forced to use that creep colony as a spore. So very effective harass here from NiteKat. Good initial harassment, lots of supply blocks. This is very good. Of course, there's Scourge out now, and they're going to pursue, but NiteKat's already on top of it. He's pulled back at just the right time. And the Scourge look like they're going to come in and commit, but there's turrets up already. Oh, gotta watch out. Nice. Very nice. So full turrets out. Taking care of those Scourge, no problem. Even saves the Wraith. 3-kill Wraith. We have our first vessel on the way. Infantry weapons on the way. Everything looks pretty good here for NiteKat. 36 SCVs to 24 drones. We're looking pretty healthy. Still have that Vulture out at the natural in front of Zerg to spot any move-outs. And finally, we have some Mutalisks in production. Now, Whiskey's going to have to make something happen with these Mutalisks because he's already pretty far behind from losing all the Overlords. So NiteKat's going to spot the Mutalisks that come out and take out the Vulture. So now NiteKat's sure that there will be Mutalisks out on the map. We'll see the response. With a vessel already out, I mean, look at the time. It's 7 minutes, 26 seconds. We already have our first vessel out. So there's a Radiate that gets started on the research. So the vessel's going to have plenty of energy by the time that a Radiate is finished researching. And there's already plenty of missile turrets here to cover everything. So I just don't see how these Mutalisks are going to get any initial value here. Even if there's 7 of them, which is the golden number for one-shotting SCVs. So yeah, Whiskey goes in, sees that there's turrets there, can't really make anything happen. And behind this, elects to take his third at the high ground. Actually planting down 2 hatcheries, that's pretty cool. Getting the Hydralisk Den behind this and harassing with the Mutalisks. And not really accomplishing a whole lot here, not even managing to take down that initial turret, so taking a lot of free damage and softening up these mutas. Now there are 10 of them, but 3 of them are really beat up. And there's 2 vessels. And a Radiate has finished. There goes the vessel, gonna chase these mutas. There it is. Alright, we'll see if we can get the split. Alright, pretty good split from Whiskey, actually. But still pretty ineffective harass, and lost quite a few mutas. Now, we'll take a look back at the base. There's a Hydralisk Den that's up. A plethora of drones have been birthed. They'll probably be sent to the third. There they go. And an Evolution Chamber and the Queen's Nest. Alright. And then back in Terran's base, we'll take a quick look. Got Siege Mode on the way. More vessels being produced. 3 barracks. I'd really like to see a couple more barracks be thrown down. We're floating a lot of minerals here. And we even see scans being produced now. We didn't really need the scans before, because the Wraith scouted everything that we needed to see, and the vessels act as detectors in case we need to detect anything. So I like the scan timing for NiteKat, actually. What that allows is for him to produce more SCVs for longer. And oh, there goes another Irradiate on these Mutalisks. Not getting the split. That's pretty nasty. So now there's only 4 Mutalisks left. They're all very bruised. Scan goes down for NiteKat, and he spots the third. Spots the creep colonies, the 2 hatcheries. We'll see what kind of decision-making goes down on Terran's base. And oh wow, 2 more factories being put down. Very interesting. So we're getting infantry weapons level 2, but we're getting additional factories. So this is going to be like a mixture play, like a bio-mech mixture. Another scan's going to go down, checking for the 4th base down in the lower left. Sees that it's empty. And in Zerg's base, we have Lurker Research, about 40% done. Hive is just about to pop. Zerg's +1 Carapace has just started at the Evolution Chamber. And what is Whiskey doing with these 4 Mutalisks? I guess probably scouting for any potential hidden bases. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. These 4 Mutalisks are not going to be very useful, so using them to spot for you is probably the best value you'll get out of them. Now in the middle of the map we do see a move out from NiteKat. 2 tanks, 3 vessels, a bunch of M&M. Looks pretty strong. Let's see where this goes. Taking a look at the economy, 52 SCVs to 34 drones. Nice and healthy. 2 engineering bays working on those upgrades. 3 factory, 3 add-on. Interesting strategic play. Got the scans going down, again looking for bases, looking for army. And we probably want to get in there. We're kind of just sitting here in the middle. Okay, there we go. Let's see what kind of pressure NiteKat can put on Whiskey. Now, there's a lot of colonies. A lot of colonies at the third. And a lot of Lurker Ling in the natural. But without Dark Swarm, this could be tricky. So, alright, here's the engagement. And oh, wow. Lurker Spine's going to chew through about half of the Terran forces. Got a couple of defense matrixes that came down. But it looks like the Lurker count is just a bit too high, and Whiskey's going to clean this up no problem. Gosh, I almost wish that these vessels had used Irradiate instead of Defense Matrix. I think we'd probably get a couple more Lurker kills secured. Now the Defiler is out. Consume is basically finished. Whiskey's turned his Spire into a Greater Spire, and if we look at the very top at 12 o'clock, those 4 Mutas are now going to become 4 Guardians. So a little bit of pressure out here. Consume is done. That's a full energy Defiler in the middle of the map. Down goes the Dark Swarm. The Lurkers are going to take cover in it. NiteKat's going to have to back up. Oh, these Dark Swarms are great. So at this stage in the game, Dark Swarm is really going to do a lot of invalidation for siege tanks. It's very difficult to micromanage and move siege tanks when Zerg gets access to Dark Swarm. And for anyone that probably doesn't know yet, any new players, the way Dark Swarm works with siege tanks, the initial tank blast, the direct blast will miss, but the splash damage will still connect. So if there are Lurkers underneath Dark Swarm, the initial hit will obviously miss, but if the Lurkers are next to each other, the splash will hit each other. So back at NiteKat's natural, we see, yep, these Guardians are in full force. There's only 4 of them, but it does force the lift. So this is going to do some economic damage to NiteKat. Whiskey not really paying attention, losing 2 of these Guardians to missile turrets, which don't have to necessarily have happen, because Guardians can outrange. But Guardians have a strange movement where they can actually float into the turret's range, so you kind of have to babysit them a little bit. More pressure at NiteKat's third as a pack of Hydralisks, Zerglings, and some Defiler with Dark Swarm forces another lift. NiteKat just not quite in position to defend this. Whiskey putting the Hydralisk and morphing into a Lurker on the ramp. That's pretty tight. It's not a full block, though. Oh, we gotta pull this command center back. We gotta pull this command center back. Oh, I think it's too little too late. And yeah, Whiskey's gonna go ahead and snipe that. Painful damage. Yeah, losing that command center is kind of a big deal. If NiteKat wants to stay in this game, he's gonna have to secure a third base, and fairly soon. Single Wraith cleans up the rest of those Guardians up top, and it looks like NiteKat is preparing to stabilize as soon as we can get up this ramp at the third and take out the rest of the Zerg here. There we go, and behind this, WhiskeyDingo swallowing the bottom side of the map, taking 2 more bases, and pressing in with more Zergling, Hydralisk, and Defiler. Of course, he's got about 2 control groups worth that are just kind of sitting in the middle here. A couple of Lurkers in the center that are burrowed. And just the siege tank count. Okay. And yeah, I'm not quite sure about using this many siege tanks against what's now a Defiler composition. Because again, with the Dark Swarm, it makes it rather difficult to get tanks into position well and to evacuate them. So, but we'll see. We'll see. We got 2-1 upgrades on the infantry, so that's pretty good. Zerg's got 1 Carapace, working on +1 melee, +2 Carapace. NiteKat gonna push in the middle of the map, and the first plague goes out, and it hits a lot of the M&M. Oh no, I don't like these. I don't like this grouped up bunch of tanks. You know, the Dark Swarm goes down, they're gonna have to unsiege. Oh no, and they've become split from the main army. Yeah, and this is kind of, oh geez, another plague goes down. Kind of part of the issue with tanks is maneuvering them against the highly mobile swarm backed up by Dark Swarm. So we kind of see the Terran force in the middle getting fractured a little bit, and NiteKat just does not have the economy behind this to really continue bolstering the forces, so all the losses in the center of the map are really going to start to add up. Now, we've resecured the third on the high ground, so that's good. Walling off with the supply depot there, got some siege tanks on the high ground, that's great. But on the center of the map, yeah, again, bleeding off bits of units here and there, like 3 lurkers taking out quite a sizable number of Marines. Everything is really going to start to add up at this point. And even a drop happening at the third. Defiler gets out, will it get the Dark Swarm in time? It does. 2 Dark Swarms go down. Not exactly in the best location, but does manage to pick off all the tanks that were on the high ground there. But NiteKat will stabilize this third. A couple more Zerglings go up. If they could just get into the swarm, yeah, they'll cause even more havoc. Meanwhile, bot left. A scan and a siege on this 5th base. Yeah, WhiskeyDingo's on 5 bases. Very nice siege location up on this high ground. Able to shell the hatchery from a safe vantage point. 4th base being taken for NiteKat all the way at the top. Firebats being produced alongside of Marines. And yeah, we are out of minerals, so we definitely need to establish a couple more mining bases for NiteKat. WhiskeyDingo gonna seize control of the center of the map here. Zerglings, Hydralisks, got that Defiler there with full energy, another one with practically full energy. And he's gonna try to wrap around and flank this small Terran force here. Yeah, swarms go down. Chase the Terran out, and this should probably get cleaned up no problem. Yeah, there's the full surround, so NiteKat gonna lose all these forces out here in the map. A bit painful. Now, looking back up top, we still have a lot of siege tanks that are positioned very well here. So if Whiskey decides to push in, yep, there we see those tanks working in action. Shelling these Hydras, no problem. Now taking a look back at Zerg's base, we'll see if there's anything new in response to this. And we're actually going for Ultralisk tech, and lots of Ultralisks are in production. Not exactly the response I would expect versus siege tanks, but, well, when you have as much money as WhiskeyDingo has in the bank right now, why not? You got 5 bases, 56 drones, constant pressure on the Terran. At this point, it's kind of just a dwindling game. The more pressure that WhiskeyDingo puts on NiteKat, the less time he has to establish these mining bases. Like this 4th base here, we're not mining anything just yet. And if we look at the main, it's completely dry. The natural's about to run out. And the third base is really the only strong mining base that's left. So if NiteKat wants to stay in this game, we have to get more mining out. And with all this pressure that Whiskey's putting on him, it's not easy. And now the Ultralisks are out. They're paired with the Defiler. Looks like this third base is about to get sieged. 5 Ultralisks, 1 fully energy Defiler. That didn't sound right. Full energy Defiler. Lots of Ultralisks. Wow, lots and lots of Ultralisks coming out. And WhiskeyDingo just in a position to move anywhere on this map. Here we are in the center. Dark Swarm goes down. Ultralisks are going to do their work. Nice Plague. Got 5 Carapace on those Ultras. Do we have the +3 yet on the Marines? We do not. In fact, it's not even being researched. So, the interesting thing here is siege tanks are really, really good against Ultralisks. Just pure Ultralisk. So in the center here, we see those Ultralisks got cleaned up pretty easily. But WhiskeyDingo just has so much. We see the siege going on at the 4th base at the top. Dark Swarm's there. Zergling's taking out the SCVs. And the attempted siege on the 3rd here, but with those two supply depots blocking and all the siege tanks there, that was thwarted. WhiskeyDingo just trickling in units. Not really going to be effective here in the center. But again, what looks like another potential CC snipe here at the top. Oh no, he's going to lose another command center. Yep. Oh, that's painful. Okay, so another mining base completely lost. And in response, WhiskeyDingo taking that 9 o'clock, so another mining base for him. Look at all this gas mining for Zerg. And lots of drop lords being loaded up. Now this I like. This I like. Yeah, drops being prepared at Zerg's 3rd. Tons of overlords being loaded up, so we'll see the drop play. That's going to bypass all of that front line at NiteKat's 3rd. So those supply depots that are blocking, not going to be an issue. He's just going to drop right on top of the base. NiteKat's going to try to push into the center of the map, but meanwhile, at his 3rd, here come those dropper lords. Well, kind of a sloppy drop, but effective nonetheless. And yeah, there's just not enough here at the 3rd to stop this. That's a lot of Zerg. It's going to force the lift. Lots of SCVs dying. And NiteKat should be able to clean this up, but it's disrupted mining, which is very crucial at this point, at this stage of the game. Now in the center, NiteKat's going to push into Whiskey's territory with this sizable Terran force, taking out a few Ultralisks, a few Zerglings. Going to move it down to this 4th base location where there's 3 Defilers. Oh, that's smart. Drops a swarm over the drones. I like that. And just Dark Swarms everywhere. That's going to completely invalidate the Terran force. Forced it back out and gets surrounded by, well, Zerglings. Cleans that up. This force is still alive. NiteKat's 3rd. Still an Ultralisk doing work. Gotta clean this up. Just 1 Ultralisk left. And yeah, this small Terran force down here should be cleaned up now. Ultraling, couple Hydralisks. And with the loss of this army, NiteKat does not have much left to work with. And that's a big problem right now because we don't have money, so we can't reinforce anything. At the top here, 3 lone siege tanks. Unfortunately, gonna get picked off by this small skirmish of Zerg. Yeah, and more Zerg move in. And finally, Zerg has maxed out Carapace. And we are still on +2 weapons for infantry, so the Zerg is going to wage quite an effective and efficient war here. There's just too many Ultralisks. Yeah, there's just too much. So it looks like this game is probably going to go to WhiskeyDingo. I can't say definitely because I don't know for sure, but yeah, probably as I say that, there's the GG. And that's going to end game 1 on Butter. WhiskeyDingo's going to take it. Okay. So here we are, game number 2 on Vermeer. Firing it up. Okay, game number 2, this time on Vermeer. Spawning in the bottom right is the orange Terran. It's Nom Clan's NiteKat. And in the bottom left corner as the green Zerg, it's WhiskeyDingo. Who, by the way, I'm pretty sure is from Ash. Not Nom. Okay, we'll see how these players decide to open again. I'm curious and watching NiteKat to see if we'll do another 1-1-1 opening or if we'll go something a little bit more traditional. The strategies probably will be swapped out because we go from a 2-player map to a 4-player map. WhiskeyDingo's very happy about TR24 low. That's what's up. And on WhiskeyDingo's side, no pool first, as we see from 9, so we have the Overlord on the way. I could still theoretically go over pool, but, I mean, I don't really recommend that versus Terran. It doesn't grant you any kind of advantage. Overpool's very meet in the middle, so we'll probably see these 2 larvae here turn into drones. There they go. So probably indicating another 12 hatch opening. Economical. NiteKat gonna drop that barracks. Keep your eyes on that gas. Because right about now is when we would take it. There's the S.C.V, but it goes past it. Alright, so a Rax Expand is my guess for NiteKat. He's going out to scout. WhiskeyDingo sending his drone out to scout in the correct direction. If NiteKat scouts completely counterclockwise, he'll end up scouting WhiskeyDingo last, which is a little bit unfortunate. You see 11 supply, 12 supply pool, and then 12 again. So another 2.5 hatch opener for WhiskeyDingo. Drone gets in the base, sees there's no gas. And then from here, what I'm looking for is whether or not NiteKat will get a second barracks before gas. That is, of course, after he drops his command center down, which we should see momentarily at the natural. Well, we got the money for it, but I don't see an S.C.V in place to do it. There he goes. Maybe just a little bit late. That's okay. S.C.V is now in the main of Zerg. Sees that there's no layer quite yet. It's 3 minutes 10 seconds. That's when the layer starts. So we could plausibly think that it's 3 hatch. It's 2.5 hatch, but it's certainly not 2 hatch because 2 hatch timings would be much sooner layer. Okay, down for Terran goes the command center. Gas and barracks. Oh, I didn't see which one went down first. Oh, well, anyway, we're still getting 2 barracks. And then next will come the academy. There it is, down at the bottom. So with 2 barracks here, NiteKat can put on some pressure if he wants to on the map. In Zerg's base, there goes that 3rd hatch. Layer's about to finish. Looks like we'll probably see a spire. Looking a little bit short on drones in the natural. Ooh, a snipe on the SCV building the bunker at NiteKat's natural. And only at the cost of 2 SCVs, or 2 Zerglings. Not too bad. Transfer of SCVs. NiteKat's nice and safe here. 2 medics on the way. Stim being researched. Comsats being built. Just 1 comsat. Actually, I quite like that. Just 1 comsat, because that means the other command center can continuously produce more SCVs. That boosts your economy. I like that. Okay, there it goes. Second scan being built. Back at Zerg. What are we looking at here? Yep, there's the Spire. About halfway done. Safety creep colony in case there's a Terran move out. Getting that natural gas. So yeah, this will be a Mutalisk open. Scan goes down for NiteKat. Bam. Gets everything he needs to see. The third hatch there, indicating 2.5 hatch. The Spire timing. So NiteKat knows everything he needs to know right now. What he doesn't know is what's at the Nat, and he scans and finds the colonies. That's what we need to see. So we have this small force here that moves out to put on pressure, and the pressure was successful because Whiskey built those colonies. So for new Terran players versus Zerg, once your medics, your first 2 medics pop out, if you're pretty timely with your academy, just move out with your Marines and those 2 medics. You don't have to commit at all, but it puts so much pressure on Zerg that's just trying to drone up during this phase to get the economy to build the Mutalisks. And here we have WhiskeyDingo moving out with 7 Zerglings. They don't have speed yet. Mutalisks are popping back at the base. How many to start? 4. 4 to start. Alright. Gonna fly across the map. And what do we see in Terran's base? We see missile turrets in a very timely fashion. 3 at the natural, 2 at the production, and 2 at the main. Oh, there's a third one there. I didn't see it. So yeah, this base is locked up nice and tight. Zerg's not going to be able to get any damage done here. More Mutalisks pop. 3 more. We're going to group up with the rest. That'll make 7. Zergling's kind of at the top there, just chilling. And Whiskey's going to try to get something done with these 7 Mutalisks here. Using that hold position micro. Only picking off 1 Marine though. Oh man, losing 2 Mutalisks there actually. That's pretty painful. So very efficient and effective trade for NiteKat. Not so much for WhiskeyDingo. Let's take a look back at Zerg's base. What are we doing? Lots more Mutalisks in production. 6 more Mutas, plus 1 attack. We got our 3rd base that just started at 9 o'clock. And we're trying to harass more with the 4 Mutalisks that are left. Looks like we got a Marine there. Now, oh, I missed that Zergling run-in. Attempted to run by with those Zerglings, but the bunker cleaned that up no problem. Look at that, 2 Firebats in the bunker. NiteKat, you're an animal. 2 Firebats, who does that? That's crazy. That's mind-gamey. Very, very cool. Yeah, very ineffective Ling harass then. What I wanted to say before was Mutalisk counts. If you want to be able to one-shot Marines, you need at least 5. If you want to be able to one-shot SCVs, you need at least 7. So before, when we had just 4, I'd say it's very difficult to get any effective damage done. But Whiskey supplied up extra forces here. Now we're at 9 Mutalisks, which can effectively harass quite a bit and even take down turrets by themselves when they're not being repaired. Exhibit A. Now that leaves this bottom side open, but in response, NiteKat's just going to move out with his M&M on the map, and that's going to force Whiskey to have to come back with his Mutalisks, or else risk getting busted. So we have a full group of Mutalisks, 11, plus the Overlord. We'll make 12 for the full control group. And yeah, NiteKat's just going to bust these colonies because these Mutalisks were not here to do anything about it. And +1 is done, and stim is done, and range is done. And WhiskeyDingo doing a fantastic job getting in there and ripping the medics apart, but definitely losing a lot in the process. We're down to 5 Mutalisks, but that's that magic number, 5, so we can one-shot Marines no problem. And with the extra Zerglings here, Whiskey cleans that up no problem. And we'll take a look back at the tech that NiteKat's got rolling. Science facility, that's about to complete. 2 starports, attachments. We'll be rolling double vessel production pretty soon. Okay, the second gas at the NAT is up, continually producing SCVs. And now for WhiskeyDingo, let's take a look at that third. Got 3 drones that just popped, so this base is not quite operational just yet. So, it would be sort of all-in-ish, but it's not because of the drone count, actually. 33, that's not 32, to 36 SCVs. 10 minutes into the game, that's actually pretty low for Terran. So we're not even close to all-in, actually. And when I say all-in, I mean generally within the next minute or two, you have to kill your opponent, or the gap is so wide that you just can't close it to win the game. And a lot of the times for Zerg, that occurs when you're 15 or more drones down compared to their worker count. So, as we see here, 33 to 37, that's fantastic for Zerg. Okay, full production in Terran's base. We got blinking barracks, we got double vessels. We're moving out in the middle of the map here, and these Marines catch almost all of the Mutalisks. Very nice. Excellent play there. Now that's going to clear the way for NiteKat to be able to push into this third, which he did find with a scan. We could take it. We could take that third out. We could take it out now if we were moving towards it. Oh my gosh, what are we doing here in the middle of the map? No. Oh, so we scan, find the third again, but now there's sunkens. Now, yeah. Now there's going to be sunken colonies here. If we were moving the entire time, we probably would have got here before the colonies would have morphed, so I don't know if this is really breakable now. There's some Zerglings down and some Zerglings up that are ready to reinforce. And as I say that, Whiskey sends both control groups in, and they're going to get a full surround here on this M&M force. Completely wiping it out. That's going to put WhiskeyDingo way far ahead now. Alright, so what can we learn from this? Pro tip for new Terrans. Pressure is good versus Zerg. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Getting out on the map, controlling the map, is very good. But if you're just going to sit, then there's no pressure, and there's no threat. So we don't want to give Zerg time, because when Zerg gets time, they can get up to Hive Tech, they can get Defilers, they can get Ultras. Those are all nasty things that can really beat Terran late game. So we want to move quick in TVZ. Okay, NiteKat's going to take his third. WhiskeyDingo going for the Guardian play again. And NiteKat hilariously responding with an eraser technique to wipe out these cocoons. Down in the main, what are those? Those are Scourge that flew in. They'll be driven away by the missile turrets. Ooh, there's a drop ship. I like that. I wonder where we're going with that. Middle of the map, Zerglings control. So map control for Zerg right now. Lots of Zerglings and a couple of Scourge. What do we have in production? Do we have any Ultralisks yet? Because I see that Ultra Cavern. Okay, we have +1/+1 melee Carapace. Finished. Right now. NiteKat moving to seize the middle of the map once again. Quite a sizable M&M force. Well, M and 1 medic. I wish there was a little bit more. And nice Zergling backstab here at the 3 o'clock. And the command center finishes just in time. Okay, good. And lifted. No problem. So back at WhiskeyDingo's natural. Nice Vessel Micro to dodge the Scourge. And an Irradiate in the middle of a pack of Zerglings. That's actually not a bad idea. I mean, if we look at the health on all these Zerglings, they're pretty bruised. Which means that these Marines can just run in and eat away at them and potentially pop these Sunkens. But now there's Ultralisks. Okay, so the Tusk Puppies are out. That changes things just a little bit. Gonna bust this egg to open it up a little bit. Oh, we're a little far forward with these vessels. Thankfully, Scourge are kind of stupid. Getting those Irradiates down on those Ultralisks, that's good. Soften those up. And what do we have back home? Dropship being loaded up. Another barracks being put down. Lots of money for NiteKat in the bank. Spend, spend, spend. Okay, we got some scans that are going out. Peeking at the natural, we see Defilers, we see Ultras. Whiskey gonna try to sneak some of these Zerglings out. Oh, NiteKat catches a good number of them. Irradiating more Ultralisks in Whiskey's natural, getting some of those Defilers as well. Nice, one at a time with the vessels. Very good. There's no Scourge left, so there's really no stopping the vessels. Oh no, if we look closely actually at the natural, that irradiated Ultralisk actually killed all of the drones that were mining the natural gas. I wonder if Whiskey's gonna notice, because that's actually a big deal. Okay, WhiskeyDingo's gonna try to bust out here. No, decides to turn back around. Okay, now we have all the Ultras coming out together. And combined with the Dark Swarm, we should be able to clear out all of these M&M. But in the main base of WhiskeyDingo, the drop of Doom comes in, clears out, and kills all the drones. And his tech of choice to eliminate will be the Ultra Cavern. But I think, honestly, I'd rather see the first buildings go down be the Evolution Chambers. Now in the center of the map, Whiskey's going to push forward towards Terran's base, but there's another group of M&M here to meet it. But with the Dark Swarm, that's going to push these forces back. Yep, back they go. And re-engage. And we'll rinse and repeat until the Dark Swarms run out. Fortunately, we get the Defiler, and we wipe out the rest of the Ultraling here. So the threat is subdued. WhiskeyDingo clears up back at home. And we stabilize for just a little bit in this game. Quite an action-packed game so far. Let's take a look at some of the upgrades and where we're at. +2 melee, +2 carapace for Zerg. Terran infantry, +2 weapons. Oh, no armor. Okay. Maybe wish we had +2 armor. The Zerglings are going to have a nice and easy time ripping through the Marines in this case. Fortunately, there's no lurkers, because that's where the breakpoint really is. Now here we have another engagement. Dark Swarms go down, but the Zerg are not actually in it, so NiteKat gonna clean this up. And there's not a lot left for Whiskey. The natural is really kind of vulnerable with just 2 sunken colonies and now a bunch of Zerglings that pop, sure. But we're not moving forward again. In fact, we're moving back. So there's not a whole lot of pressure. WhiskeyDingo's 4th base just popped. See how long it takes to get that operational. Alright, Terran, let's go. Nope, still kind of just waiting around here in the center. Oh, look, oh, nice Zergling backstab on its way to Terran's 3rd. I like the supply depots here, the wall. That's going to buy a lot of time. Very nice. Oh, the bunker. The bunker is empty. That's a problem. Okay, so we do have forces here that come in to clean this up, but the Zerglings are trying to target fire down the command center. They're not quite going to get it, but we are in the red, so NiteKat will just have to repair that, and that's not a problem. Lots of M&M here in position. We'll probably have to move out and seize the rest of the map. Now, I think I missed it, but the forces that were right outside of WhiskeyDingo's natural, it looks like they got cleaned up, and there's a fat plague that went down. It's covering all these vessels, so yeah, maybe send those back and get those repaired. But the vessel cloud is enormous. Let's take a look here. 8 vessels, 4 of them plagued down to nothing. And this command center is not being repaired. Oh, NiteKat, no, please tell me you see it. And he just sent the workers back to mine too, so I know he's looking at the screen. We're at 220 health. Oh, please tell me that doesn't burn down. Alright, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. What do we got? Full production back in Terran's base, that's good. Yeah, we're getting these vessels repaired. Very good, I like that a lot. He's scanning ahead, controlling the high ground here. The M&M forces that are left. +3 weapons, +1 armor. Oh god, that command center is at 165. Okay, where was that scan? Scan was at the would-be third. It's empty. That's not where WhiskeyDingo's expanding it. Oh my god, that command center is actually burning down. Oh, if we take a look inside the main base of NiteKat, wow, actually a fat plague goes down on top of all the supply depots. The drop with cracklings. Dark Swarm's going to rip through a lot of these buildings. A lot of the supply for Terran as well. If this doesn't get replaced soon, NiteKat's not going to be able to reinforce his army. As a matter of fact, he's already supply blocked. But as I say that, he's pushing into the natural of WhiskeyDingo. Lots of irradiates going down. A nice Dark Swarm, but Dark Swarm is not going to save buildings. Oh no. That command center, it's at 55 HP. Oh no. There are still Zerglings alive inside NiteKat's main. Oh no! No! 33. 28. Oh, now I just have to watch the command center burn down. Oh, I have to. Oh no. This is like the most depressing thing ever. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ouch. What could have been solved by a single quick little repair ends up being devastating economic damage. In a time of desperate need in which we're supply blocked already. At least he's got the money. We got a fat bank. But if we had spent that money to begin with, we probably would have just won this game by now. And I didn't even realize that the top right had been taken by NiteKat, but WhiskeyDingo finds out about it with 2 Zerglings. Empty bunkers. GG gets called by NiteKat, yeah. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much damage on all fronts. Fantastic drop play by WhiskeyDingo. An unfortunate miss on a command center that burnt down. That's going to be it for game number 2. And that'll be WhiskeyDingo taking 2-2. Or, no, 2-0.
So with that, WhiskeyDingo gets a win in the column for the Cattlebruisers, going 2-0 in that series. I saw that everybody was very excited to watch that CC burn down. It's kind of funny in TVZ. There's like 2 really exciting things that can happen sometimes. CC can just burn down, or CC can get infested. In both of those situations, like, you start watching it, it's like, oh no, see the train wreck just coming. But a very well played games by WhiskeyDingo. When looking back at this game, so I'm definitely like, yeah, there were some points where I could have just won that, but you know, you will have that sometimes. You get that tunnel vision of so much going on in the game. Go ahead and get the audio back for Starcraft here. We'll get our next series rolling here, which is going to be AK versus Arcanewinds. Actually, that's kind of interesting, having section of the cast that I didn't do, or well, that I'm not doing live. Like, it's like a nice little long break in the middle. Well, especially since the series is right in the middle. If it was like right at the front, then I guess it wouldn't really feel that way. But yeah, kind of interesting experience to, because it's the first time I've done something like that, where part of the cast is not live. Like, it's either all live or all recorded. So that was Forte that casted it for us there. So thank you, Forte, for that. Very appreciative of you being able to step in and help out with that. He wasn't here. He wasn't able to join us live here. So I was the cameraman for that section. He was also in the game though, so he had his own view, but I was the camera and recorded that. But let's get into the next series here. It's going to be AK versus Arcanewinds. We've got ourselves a Terran versus Protoss. And they're going to be on some butter here. We've got Arcanewinds spawning as the red Protoss down at the bottom of the map. And up at the top right of the map, we have AK. So we have ourselves a little Terran versus Zerg action. I also have a couple of grasshopper cookies that I grabbed, so I might be munching on those a little bit here. I think I've ate two. No, I only had one. You know, grasshoppers. I also switched my drink up. Got that on the wrong side here, but it's no longer a green drink, so it doesn't get picked up with the green screen. I'm gonna take a real quick sip here. Looks like we've got maybe a gas steal going to happen here, actually, since this probe's going out this early with the first pylon being thrown down. I'd imagine this probe is probably going to go ahead and scout and throw down a gas steal, but we do have a depot started here at the choke. So we could see the depot racks wall. I don't think it'll go up in time to stop a gas steal, but it could help against zealots and such. Yeah, the probe is going to get in like just as there were enough minerals, and actually in response, AK going to say, no, you're not taking the gas. I'm going to go ahead and throw down the refinery a little early, which is a response that can be done, and then the probe is going to get trapped inside. But we'll see, this little probe might be like, I'm not trapped with you, you're trapped in with me. But no, it's just going to run around. It's not going to try and proc any SCVs. There is an SCV hunting it down, so understandable for it to just kind of keep on moving. Now, there are downsides to taking the gas to prevent a gas steal. Actually, switching off the SCVs there, since the one that was building was holding minerals. You do have to cut SCVs for a short bit in order to do that. Ooh, very nice that SCV is so smooth bounced off of that barrack. Sometimes that can be a fight to get that scout out when you wall like that. But yeah, you do like have to cut SCVs for a short bit, so there are impacts to the Terran, which is why Terran does not always do this in response to possible gas steal. Oh, but the SCV, when it finishes the racks, is stuck outside, so that's unfortunate, especially with having done this. Another thing that I've seen in response to gas steal is, or potential gas steal, is scouting on 10. Because you get down there before the Protoss would want to build this Nexus, and you can throw an eBay to block it and just delay their expansion a little bit until they get something that can clear that eBay. But we see it is one Nexus here. I don't think this was a 12 Nexus or anything, but I honestly wasn't looking, so I'm not sure exactly. Now we do have the Marine that's going to go ahead and chase this SCV, or sorry, not the SCV, the probe. Getting a little bit close, actually getting tickled by the probe. It's kind of crazy how dangerous probes can be to Marines, and actually drones too, can just, in the right circumstances, take Marines on. Yeah, unfortunately, the probe pathing, they're not really going to see a whole lot. The first factory does finish. We still have guys on gas, though. So, is this going to be a 2-factory? I feel like a second factory should have been started already if that was going to be the case. We do have a third depot going down, though. But it looks like we're going to go ahead and move out and take this natural. I think. Yeah, there we go. The scouting SCV, I'm not actually sure what happened to it. It doesn't look like there's anything that should have been able to kill it. Maybe it came home. It might have come home. We're going ahead getting a vulture. We're getting our spider mine. So expansion is a little bit delayed since we didn't take anybody off of the gas mining, but you know, we've got plenty of gas to get our upgrades, because sometimes what can happen too when you're playing, you take the SCVs off of gas. And actually, okay, now we're correcting a little bit. We see, okay, we're floating some gas. We're going to take some workers off of gas for a little bit, but that can be tricky because if you take them off the gas now, like you sometimes use, because like what typically with one factory fast expands, you take them off of gas once you get the 100 gas. You leave one on. You can throw down your factory, and then when you get your natural command center going, you want to this snuck in right in between the zealot and the dragoon there. I'll finish that thought in a second. I'm actually gonna get an amazing scout in here, or maybe not. Oh, we got mines, so we're gonna go ahead and lay those. Oh, we get one probe with the mine. But we don't get the other 2 mines. We get sandwiched by the dragoon and the zealot. So nice response there by Arcanewinds. And then the 2 new dragoons actually came up to be able to deflect any other vultures that may try to go in. But Arcanewinds sees that mines are on the field or in play now, and that vultures can be out on the field. So probably going to stay home until the observatory is able to finish, and the robotics facility, which you need first. Get the observatory is almost done. And up to 3 gateways, so it looks like we're just going to do 3 gate ops, which I think is perfectly fine in response to this. Some defensive mines being thrown down. We didn't exactly get a good scout. I mean, we did see that the cybernetics core was spinning with that vulture, so but we didn't see any tech buildings. But we know that there's no hidden tech anywhere, but they're at least out on the field, I think, based on the pylon count. But it's possible that, you know, Dark Templar could be getting made in the main, and then they're going to just walk all the way to you. So, not bad choice to have some defensive spider mines. Yeah, typically you want to lay them as far forward as you can, so that way you see when the units, when the Protoss is going to move across the map. Because one of the things you want to kind of try and do is delay your siege tech for as long as possible. It's an expensive upgrade. It's a slow upgrade. If you can get mines and speed before you get siege mode, like, you're pretty happy as a Terran. First observer is out, and it's actually going straight across. There is a zealot going to come up here and clear this mine that the observer saw. Just going to kind of slow march here. It's going to eat this mine, which will actually kill him, but it will allow the probe to throw down the nexus there, so. AK can be a bit suspicious about that clear, because that was a very, very specific mine clear. Second observer is out though, so now this very large dragoon pack can start to come across the map. Siege mode on the way. And I think it should be done in time here. Especially Protoss is not exactly rushing across the map. Like I said, siege mode does take a little while to make. Nice vision with the mines there, checking for expansions. Gonna position these vultures here on the left side to get ready to run in if an opportunity presents itself. Observer scouts all the way up to the next mine, and now the dragoons are going to move forward. Siege mode just about to finish. So it looks like it will be just in time. Ooh, and now the vultures trying to force their way in here, but there is observer there. Good pick off on the mine there, so not going to be able to get in. And will be deflected there. Pylon wall created here. I'm not sure if that is tight or not. Not to prevent vultures from getting in, but it does exist there. Unfortunately, the probe on the wrong side, but I think the probe might be able to squeak through. Okay, I was like, I hear shots firing from something. It was this turret firing on the over here. We're going to toss another turret down just to push that observer away from the factories. Looks like we're going for 2 shops, 3 factories, so we're probably going to be doing some heavy tank production here. Weapons is about halfway done, and we don't have a starport yet, so I'm thinking we might actually see some 2-base play. Server gets picked off. We have a lot of money, though. So I'm wondering if we were waiting to kill that observer to maybe go up to 5 factory or something. Like maybe this will be a 5 factory plus 1. Yep, and there's 2 factories. Bam, right at the same time. So actually, I think those literally started on the same frame. Their health doesn't change when I click on them, just when parts are red. Oh, we're actually going up to 6 fact. Okay. So we're going to do like 6 fact plus 1, but we are getting our starport. And there is a probe transfer to the 3rd. Very healthy worker counts from both of our players here right now. My cam did freeze still, so what I did to try and fix it does not seem to have fixed it. That is very, very fortunate. I will have to look into that after this cast or tomorrow at some point to see why it's doing that. Like I said earlier, I was playing with it yesterday and I messed with a bunch of options because it seemed like Windows was maybe putting the cam to sleep. Even if just for a moment, and that would freeze it in OBS. But it, like, and I left it running for like 40, 50 minutes, and it did not freeze, and now it's been freezing in much shorter time frames during this cast, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on with it. Mine's being cleared. This left side base not, though. Just this middle left base. We've got the observers can maybe be a little bit forward, but got a decent watch. Arcanewinds can see if anything comes out of that natural. No room to really sneak out. Ooh, good probe pick off there at the 4th. I'm gonna go ahead and just be annoying and lay a mine there. Got some mines behind this Dragoon army too, so when AK moves out, that's going to be a bit dangerous for these Dragoons, because they're going to back up and they might back up into these mines. But we're going tank first. The Dragoons on hold position, they're just taking these shots. Ooh, just continuing to lose Dragoons. Now we're going to go ahead and pull back. But we're pulling back without the observers. Okay, we're actually pulling back to the bridge, so we might avoid an issue there. But these Dragoons are walking forward ahead of the observers. They're going to walk into this minefield here. And they're on move command. But only one mine gets triggered. Ow. How only one get triggered there, I don't know. And now the Protoss army still not triggering the mines. And now they get cleared. I don't... It's just Starcraft things, I guess. Kind of funny. Yeah, Protoss is looking pretty good. Both players at 60 workers here. So we're getting our +2/+1. Ooh, what's this? We're getting hallucination? Getting arbiter. Are we getting recall? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure of this build from AK. Like, I thought it was going to be a +1 pressure build because +1 was like halfway done. We still hadn't started our starport yet. Once we cleared the observer out, we went up to 6 factories, but then we went ahead and got the starport and the science facility. So maybe we saw something, or like AK saw something that, you know, triggered the switch from doing a +1 pressure build into going into a longer macro game. Interestingly, though, we don't have comsats. So we have no way of knowing what tech path Protoss is going for. Protoss could be going Gateway Man, Protoss could be going for Storms. We just don't have a way of knowing. Arcanewinds almost maxed out here. Going to send a chunk of the army. I think there's going to be enough here to repel it. If these vultures get into position. Yeah, and Arcanewinds wisely backing off here. Could maybe break this if they have the full army, but now there's just so many tanks here. I think this third isn't going to be broken easily. Terran was able to sort of shift the army. Now, if they attack from both sides, AK could be in some trouble here. There's no vultures to guard these back tanks. And there are mines pretty dangerously close, but Arcanewinds just going to go ahead and back up here. I'll let Terran take that third. Has an eye on the high ground base here to see if and or when that gets taken. Yeah, we do have Arbiters on the way. One Arbiter is out. Actually, two Arbiters are out. So, yeah, because we have the 2 Starport Arbiter production here. And we did get Hallucinate, but I haven't seen any High Templars out yet. And now we are coming into this main choke area here. Terran did not shift their army over. They still don't have... Okay, they do have Comsats now. I'm going to clear this up a bit, but I think the Terran army is going to be able to kind of just get in position here. Zealot's trying to get on top of the tanks, but I think there's enough here that Terran is going to deflect this. They're really probably not too bad for Protoss. I mean, you trade out some of your army, you can now replace it with different units if you want to. You can throw that Arbiter count with that fresh supply. And AK got knocked down all the way to 119 supply. I'm not producing anything out of the factories right now, so I'm floating a lot of money in some gas. And now we're getting that third Comsat, and we are getting the production in the factories going up here. We're trying to go up here, but we need scans or vessels. We got EMP, but we didn't produce any. Or okay, here is the vessel, but yeah, we lost a lot of units for nothing there, just bumping into invisible things. And Protoss capitalizing on it. There's still a lot of tanks here and not a lot of zealots, but I think there might be just enough. Maybe actually with this wave of zealots here, I think they might be able to bust into this natural. We do get an EMP off on the Arbiter. Stasis being researched now. The SCV's saving this. A lot of the SCVs took some splash damage there, but the bunker holds. But this third is now pretty open. The Arbiter taking a lot of damage from the turret there. I'm going to go ahead and evacuate, but there aren't a lot of workers over here anyway. Yeah, going to try and save that CC. Arcanewinds assigning 4 Dragoons specifically to target that down. We're going to get laying mines behind this, so this Dragoon force, if it wants to get out, is going to have to go ahead over to the left. Has no Observer. I think that probably got picked off. Or, oh no, the Observer is over here. Okay. And the badly wounded Arbiter's going to go away. There's no Goliaths being fielded for AK. Okay, actually, there's one in production now. But again, I think that's due to the lack of Comsats for so long. But the tank count got completely reset. We do have 4 factories with add-ons though, so we can repopulate that, and we are going ahead and taking a 4th, which will now be our 3rd base, but the 3rd CC remains alive. It's not in red like I left it to burn down. But yeah, as Fuzzy is pointing out in the chat, under 100 supply is danger zone. We have money, we have gas, but we're just not spending it at the moment. We've all just got a single Goliath in production here. And so yeah, it's looking a bit dangerous for AK here. Protoss though still just on 4 bases. I mean, they did manage to knock Terran back down to 2. And this 3rd is not operational just yet. So Protoss going ahead and getting their 5th started now. But as that base league grows, you know, Protoss is just going to be looking stronger and stronger. There's so many. So we've got 3 Arbiters. I'm not sure what. Oh, here's the 4th highly damaged one that's still just having free reign over here. The Goliath just looking at it while taking shots from it, like, oh hey, what's up? There we go. That Arbiter finally getting attacked. It could maybe get. Oh, it dies right as it gets the energy for a stasis. We have a stasis on a few tanks here. Looks like AK wanted to re-land this base, but Arcanewinds gonna go ahead and knock it out. And actually now, ooh, the command center gonna be taken out this time. So the Terran army, the Terran base is mined out of the main, mined out of the natural, goes in and gives the GG. Good effort there by AK, but Arcanewinds gonna go up on the Series 1-0. We'll take map 1. Now that I think about it, on a map named Butter, that Vulture slid so smoothly in between that Zealot and Dragoon in the early game there. Next up, we're going to be moving to Vermeer again as game 2. I'm going to grab a Grasshopper Cookie real quick. Alright, on Vermeer, we've got Arcanewinds spawning as the red Protoss on the top left. Down in the bottom left, we have AK. Vermeer lends itself a little bit more, I think, to larger macro games. It is a 4-player map. I believe all of the expansions have gas. Yeah, all the expansions on this map have gas, so you can get some very nice, large macro games where, like, Protoss takes, like, 3/4 of the map, Terran takes, like, 1/4 of the map, and Terran can still win. Because Tasagi, as people like to say. I feel like that's not the case, but, you know. I'm a Terran player, so I have that a little bit of salt. We have the first scout. Now, this is something that hilariously makes Artosis mad, and I enjoy watching this. When somebody does this sort of on a 4-player map, you do the pylon, you scout on the pylon. If you get the first scout, you can gas steal on a 4-player map. And then adjust your build from there. And if you don't get the first scout, you know, you don't get the gas steal, you adjust your build. Split map, yes. 3 corners, no. Well, split map essentially creates 3 corners for Protoss on a 4-player map like this. Actually, we're going to throw down the barracks. Will Arcanewinds do the gas steal? Will they take the gas? They're in here. They can do it. And they do it. AK almost prevented it. Had the minerals for the refinery, but doesn't quite get it. So the only thing is, this pylon placement and this gateway, it's so far back. But we can probably take a faster Nexus if we want to. Actually sending out a second probe. Where are you going, buddy? The adventure of the probe. We're going to see where this probe goes. AK doesn't like being gas stolen since they cut SCV in game 1. Well, that could... Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Like, could get a little bit tilted here. Bad probe. It looks like we're going to get some hidden tech here. Now, there is an SCV in the main of Arcanewinds scouting, so seeing what is going on. What's this probe going to build? It's going to build a pylon, because that's the first thing you got to build to be able to build anything in this game. What? Locations aren't set for anything. Wait. Shift. What? My location hotkeys are not working. What is this? There we go. Now they're working. Jeez. Okay. We're getting our gateway. Corey's not now. AK should be suspicious, right? You see all that's here is a single pylon, a gateway, and a core that's not spinning. Now, maybe, you know, you did if you're got a good enough eye, you didn't see a probe leave the main. So you know that there is no Nexus down here. But there can't be. There can't be any pylons down there. Like, at this point, I would be like, okay, there's some kind of shenanigans going on. There has to be. Now, we are getting goon range, though, which maybe Arcanewinds is abandoning, like, whatever they were originally planning on doing. Because maybe it was going to be proxy DTs or something like that. But with the scout that AK was able to get off, maybe he's decided to change plans here and just get range. And then just go, okay, well, I have this gateway near you that goons will get there a little bit faster. But the first goon is here. Now, 3 Marines can fight back a goon, but these are damaged Marines. And the barracks is floating. If this goon kills the last Marine before the bunker finishes, this is like everything that can go wrong for the Terran is going to go wrong here. Now these SCVs can probably handle this one Dragoon, but we've got a second Dragoon coming down. Oh no, the proxy Dragoon not coming down in time. It just needs to be on top of making sure that any Marine that comes out does not get into this bunker. If he can do that, there's so many workers being killed. If he can get that, oh no, it doesn't target, okay, it doesn't target the Marines, so these Dragoons, because there's only 1 Marine in the bunker, can still get into a very annoying position, like right there. Just hold position the Dragoons, make sure they don't get lured into the bunker, and this command center will have a really hard time finishing. The Marines come out, you target them down. Yeah, it's not a good spot to be in. Yeah, like Fuzzy says in the chat, it just gets worse from here. Meanwhile, Protoss going ahead and actually just staying on the 2 gateways. Worker production actually fell a little bit during this. And this is where I was kind of talking about too, like you can, oh, but there's, range is done. Actually, so since we got range, yeah, we can just fire this down and this Dragoon bunker falls. Yeah, I can just make sure that nothing could get there in time to repair. And I mean, we can make vultures, but we don't even have our machine shop. So yeah, this is just a painful situation to be in if you're AK. And the proxy gate, oh, okay, so we canceled that command center. We're just giving up on that for now. And their AK is going to go ahead and give the good game. Now there's just too many Dragoons there, so nicely done by Arcanewinds there to get a very quick and decisive win. And I guess the pivot away from, like, hidden tech was what was needed, right? Really quick. Gonna enjoy another grasshopper cookie while we get the next game up here. The next game is going to be between Yoitsflash and boab, so we got ourselves Protoss versus Zerg. Game 1's going to be on Butter again. Of course, because it's always the same maps for the week. Right, and down in the bottom right, in the red Protoss, we have Yoitsflash. Up at the top of the map, in the blue Zerg, we have Nom multitasking, aka boab. Wait, yeah. Use myself for a second because the Zerg icon is red, and so then I was like, wait, is the red player boab? Like, I got confused for a second. Yeah, I didn't realize that multitasking, or, well, actually, I love the name, and that this player has another screen name or username that is similar. So it's nom.multitasking or no multitasking. I forget what the other screen name they have that's like that. And I feel like I date myself when I say screen name instead of username. But I guess they're both like from around the same era, same age. Yeah, I think he is also nom.or losses or no more losses. I think that's the same player. I'm not 100% sure on that. Here I'm in nom too. I'm not sure. But it looks like we have a 9 pool. Or actually, no, that was an overpool. Sorry, an overpool. The Overlord pops, and then we've got spawning pool. So looks like we are going for Zergling opening here from Boab, and for Yoitsflash, we've got a gateway first. So, and we're in the main, so we're not expanding. Both players not looking to do any sort of fast expansions here. Both players looking to do that early aggression, and I'm actually not sure how it plays out between these two builds. Now we are without that drone wiggles. Like wiggle. Actually, no, not going for an expansion unless it's going for another spot. We got the little grabby hands too. That almost look like they're metallic or something, or maybe they're bone-like, and like the arms like they're bone, like you can see like the little hole in the scouts pass each other there. And the natural does get started for the Zerg. It almost looks like a pair of fake eyes too, like that could be like to ward off air predators or something on the back of the drone. I don't remember these games. I hope I win. Sometimes a drone IRL would be scary AF. Yeah, like there is an image I saw that showed, oh, we got 2 gate from Yoitsflash. Okay, so this is going to be real aggressive, but the drone is going to see this and just going to poke back in there and just make sure, like, okay, yeah, it is 2 gate. There's no gas. I'm going to go ahead and just blow up the drone on your gas. But yeah, there was an image I saw floating around us, I think from SC2 though, but it showed like the image drawing of like all of the units and like their relative sizes, and probes are huge. Like so much larger than Marines. It's like no wonder probes just absolutely destroy Marines. Here we have the first pack of Zerglings coming across the mountain. This is going to be kind of interesting because we have the Zealots coming out all the way to meet them. The Zerglings aren't really going to be able to fight in this open space against the Zealots, but at the same time, the Zerglings could just run past and go to the Protoss main, but there are 2 gates, so Zealots are going to just continue to pump out, and they're actually going to come ahead here and help out. Looks like we're going to go ahead and try to throw down a creep colony, but the Zealots are going to get here before that creep colony can even finish morphing, and we have the probe joining in. Going to come down to the micro here. Good surround, picks up that probe from Boab. And the Zealots are going to just go ahead and march into the main here. We also have these 2 additional Zealots, so it'll be interesting to see where those go, but the Sunken is morphing. Zealots getting good ground, or like surface area here on the Zealots. Zealots taking a lot of damage. One goes down, 2 are very heavily damaged, but these 2 able to just walk by, so there's nothing blocking the choke. Needs to be careful that the damaged Zealots don't walk into the Sunken, and wants to keep those alive as much as possible. Looks like we've got a pylon going down in the natural of Yoitsflash, and Yoitsflash getting on top of the drones here, maybe. Needs to be careful because of the weak one drone. Attempts at drilling here, trying to keep those drones safe. 1 Zealot goes down. I think so far only 1 drone has fallen. Seems like a good defense there by Boab. The gas here does get cleared up by the Zealots, and it looks like we are going to go ahead and take the natural here. A lot of mining time disrupted there, but overall, I don't think that's too much damage. We did get gas. Okay, we spent that 100 gas on the lair, but we're not mining any gas right now. It looks like we are going ahead and putting 3 back on there now. So it's going to say like lair tech was going to be a bit delayed. We're coming out again with the Zealots here, and we've certainly done some damage, so I like this move to come out and be aggressive again. If that choke doesn't get blocked, those 4 Zealots could just walk past the Sunken colony yet again. So Bab's going to need to block that off, but then that can potentially expose us, but I think the minerals are defended by Sunken colony. Looks like these Zealots are going to try and just walk by again. Bab going to try and block this off. The Zealots can pretty much work their way through this, though. They need to go into the main, though. Yeah, and they take some damage. 1 Zealot does fall, but 3 Zealots back in the main again. There's still no Sunken here in the main, so this is going to be a little bit of a problem. For Boab's going to need to handle this. Oh, a little misclick there. Boab attacking their own hatchery for a moment, and drone does get picked off, so that's the 2nd drone gone in the game. More zealots coming across the map here. I would have loved to see those zealots maybe try and get behind the minerals just to get less surface area for the lings. So good control there by Boab. Spire is coming down in the natural. We're gonna need to see some anti-air. We do have a forge. We have a core, but dragoons are not the best against zealots. We're getting a couple of cannons, but not really the best places to be anti-muta. Not sure if we saw the Mutalisk or not. Or sorry, not the Mutalisk, but the Spire from Boab. Zealots are going to try and get home, but even without speed, these Zerglings just going to escort the Zealots home. Oh, okay, they're going to try and cut them off here. They do get one. Zealot's able to get one attack off before being sent back home to Ire to become a Dragoon later. We're getting our Stargate now. I'm actually going to finish only a little bit after Spire finishes, but oh! Actually, losing the Zerglings is pretty good. I just noticed that Boab for a moment was supply blocked, but an Overlord did finish pretty much in time. But we also lost a few Zerglings, and that freed up a little bit of supply as well. We have some Scourge coming out. They're going to be able to scout what Protoss is doing. And they should have... They actually might even be able to just... Oh, no, okay. If that Corsair is going to finish, I was going to say they might be able to just get on top of the Stargate and camp it out and kill the first Corsair that comes out. But no, the timing is pretty nice. That is going to finish on time. Do we have... Okay, we do have a Hydralisk then. So it looks like we just got the Spire probably for the Scourge here. I'm going to go ahead and get a nice little scout. Ooh, okay, the cannon does protect that Corsair, so nice cannon in the main there. I'm going to go ahead and toss a cannon over in the mineral line of the natural to the bottom, a little bit exposed, but it looks like that's not really going to come into play, as it looks like we're switching the tech from air into Hydras. Scourge guarding that lower section down below. A few more Scourge popping out here. We are continuing the Corsair production, but because the Corsair, like, so it's kind of funny. It's kind of like who gets the air tech out first in this match. Okay, no, actually, we do have one lone Corsair that's coming up here. It's going to run right into the Scourge, but Scourge AI is kind of dumb. See? Like, the way that first Scourge went. Totally ended up missing the Corsair, but they will give a chase. Ooh, and then, see, there's that Scourge AI in action again. One does manage to connect, but I think if this Corsair just travels in a straight line, it's going to be able to get home and be safe in time. Did just get a bit of a scout, saw the Hydra Den. So as long as this Corsair lives, it did a good job there. Very, very risky mission, running past Scourge like that. Third is coming up. I don't think we saw that with the Corsair. We haven't got any Zealots out on the map just yet. Looks like leg speed finished for Zealots, and I always kind of crack up when, like, Tastosis calls that charge, because that's SC2. Leg speed in StarCraft 1, it just makes Zealots move faster overall. We're going to get an Overlord pick here, which is pretty nice. And actually, that's going to supply block Boab there, so that's a really nice pick for Yoitsflash. But we now have Hydralisks, and I don't see an observatory for Yoitsflash. So... Ooh. One little pick off there on the Corsair with the Scourge. And yeah, we're going to run in, we're going to see the spines, and we're going to immediately run back. And I think this third... I mean, we're going to find it. Actually, there's no lurkers here. Pretty decent looking SimCity, though. Okay. Actually, no, we did not lose a Corsair there. Yeah, lurkers are just going to come over Burrow, and that's just going to end that. So yes, Flash is going to have to run back. We can see that the robotics facility bay is started down at the bottom here, second forge as well. So we're going to be teching into those observers, but we can't really do much until we get them. Looks like the army's just going to be returned home, or mostly home. I think this is a pretty good spot to camp out. It is a little bit dangerous because, like I was saying before, Butter has... Where's this? Oh, okay. This try's going to the expansion here. Butter has a lot of paths. Like, if you follow the mouse cursor, right, like, you can go to the right, you can go to the left. Like, there's ways that this army could be flanked. Some lurkers could be put behind, and then the army could be forced to retreat into the lurkers. But at the same time, you don't want to let Zerg just come right up front, right? With the barrel of lurkers here. And then you gotta bust out of that. We have Storm coming up here. So, like, basically what I'm saying is I agree with, like, keeping the army a bit forward. But it is dangerous on this map because of the flanking paths. Little drone transfer happening here. The Corsairs flying a little bit forward. You do want to be careful with your Corsairs and try to keep them alive if you can. Because at any point, if your Corsair count gets too low, Zerg could just tech switch into Mutalisks, and then you might have some problems if you don't have like enough storms and things like that. But it looks like we've stopped the Corsair production for now, which I think is fine, since there's not really any Muta production. A few Zerglings are going to get out on the map. The army trying to intercept them. They are slow links. Link speed is being researched now. But they are able to get away, so they will be able to get in a position where they can maybe scout. Pardon me. It's not a boring game, just when you talk enough, sometimes you just yawn. Might be a case of maybe not bringing in enough oxygen in between the sentences, right? We do have a third coming up, though. It's not established yet for Yoitsflash, but we are getting a third. And it looks like Boab is just kind of powering up right now, taking a fourth base for themselves. I don't think that's been discovered yet by Yoitsflash, so Yoitsflash has only just seen the 3 bases to this point. High Templar are out. Storm was researched. We've got Storm banked up right now. And we have the Observer. And Storm is another way to deal with lurkers, because you don't need to see them for Storm to hit them. But you do need to cast in the right spots to hit them in those instances. Looks like we're going to try and push in here. I don't know if this is going to really work out well. I mean, we do have Storm, beautiful Storm there. But it only knocks out 2 Hydras. So maybe it just looked more beautiful than it was. But we are going to push in here. Another good Storm. That's going to let us actually get into this natural a bit here. But I don't know if the army's really big enough. Oh, maybe. Oh, a Storm on the drones. The drone count is really, really high, though. Like, we're in here. I feel like there should be some more armies. Like, we have a lurker sitting all the way back here. A bit out of position. Not going to be able to deal with these dragoons. Okay, now the lurker gets lifted, but it's got no real support. The dragoons are actually just going to stay out of range and just continue to kill drones. Meanwhile, the Corsairs just hammering away on the overlords. We did more for one Archon, which is holding a couple of Hydralisks at bay, but it looks like now Boab going to be able to clean those up. And really, like, there were a fair amount of drones lost there, but the drone count was already so high with all the other bases that it may not be quite as much damage as it first appears. We do have another army coming out here, but there's no Templar with it. We have 2 Templar, but they don't quite have a Storm yet. They're okay, now they've been added to the army, and they are coming up, but I think if we're going to try and push again, like, we need Storm. There are some more Overlords being created here. We do have Overlord speed now. This Observer's going to get picked off. Oof, actually okay. There is another Observer coming up, but it's not quite forward right now. Now it is getting in there. The Dragoon's going ahead and targeting down that Lurker. Yeah, actually, even without the Templar here, without the Storms, it looks like there's just maybe a little too much here. This Natural could fall the Lair, the Den. Good Storm on the Lurker eggs. Need a second Storm, though, to really clear those up, but there it goes, pulling the Zealots back, and yeah, they all pop, including the neutral egg that was there. A couple of Lurkers do pop, and now we're moving some lurkers from behind. We've got some units coming from the 4th as well, potentially here. But the den is gone, so until that's replaced, it's just going to be Zerglings coming in. And Archons are pretty decent at figuring lings because of the splash damage that they deal. We have a good chunk of lurkers coming up here. But Protoss could just walk into the main here. I mean, the lair could be targeted down as well. There is an observer, so it's not like Protoss can't see the lurkers. But yeah, gonna let the lair live for now. We actually are launching an attack over here on the 4th. And yeah, with everything going on, boab is gonna go ahead and give the GG. Yoitsflash with a pretty good pressure application there, just continuing to hammer that natural. What looked like a pretty decent position for boab, just able to be busted there. Hey, Tentat, thank you. The camera setup is new. I got a green screen. I got a new camera so that way I can mess with options a little bit better. Got a ring light as well to try and help with the lighting for the camera and stuff. So I'm liking it. I do have one issue where the camera seems to be freezing sometimes because the camera will shut itself off for a moment and then turn back on, and that, like, it just did. I thought I had solved it, but apparently I didn't. I'm gone. I'm back. I don't know why that happens. I'll be troubleshooting that, trying to figure that out. Yeah, I know, right? It's like I bring it up and then it happens. But, that's gonna put Yoitsflash up 1-0. The second game going to be on Vermeer. Go ahead and get that going here. It's potentially our last game of the night. Unless the boab is able to take this to a game 3. Let's get into it. Alright, we've got Yoitsflash spawning as the red Protoss over on the bottom right. Vermeer. And over on the bottom left, we have boab, aka Nom, multitasking or no multitasking. So we saw some relatively aggressive openings from both players. We saw overpull from boab, and we saw 2-gate from Yoitsflash. But that was on a 2-player map where... Ooh. What? Oh, wait, no, that's not. This is probably going to be a fast expansion. Maybe a little bit early for the probe because it gets there before we have the 100 minerals, but... Oh, oh! Okay, it was just slightly misplaced. Then we went ahead and corrected it, so... A little misstep there, but... Could come into play if things are just a little bit late, just right in boab's favor, but we'll see how it plays out. That timing, holy moly, you didn't see that. We didn't see my CC burn down in game 2, right, of my series. We didn't see that. That didn't happen. I didn't let it burn down. No, we saw that, yeah. We're a bit late on a forge, too. Which has me a little bit worried. But actually, it's going to be okay, I think, because looks like boab is going for a 12 hatch, so... No pull first or anything, so I think we are going to be safe even with a slightly late forge. Overlord's going to get hidden here. Drone sees the probe coming into here, and quick reaction from Yoitsflash. Sees the drone, pulls their probe back. I'm going to let the drone go all the way up there and see that that's empty. And then we'll scout to the right. And sometimes you can fake yourself out when you see a worker going one direction or an overlord going one direction. You think, oh, well, that must mean they are, you know, this other location. And Meanwhile, they were at the place that your worker was going, and you just play yourself, basically. Gas finishing up here for Boab. Well, about to finish, so probe gets in here, sees the timing of everything, goes, okay, so hatch first. Pool's not even done yet. I'm gonna go ahead and throw down a cannon. You could probably actually, I feel like, well, maybe the cannon went down before the scout actually got in, but against this build, you probably could get the gateway before the cannon even. Those kind of adjustments, though, can be tricky to pull off right. And the thing is, if you pull those adjustments off wrong, you're dead. So, you know, sometimes you just play the safer way and just, you know, do the build that you know, if they were being aggressive, if that pull was faster, you know, that I would live. But again, it could have also just been, too, that cannon got started before the timing of the buildings actually was seen. I'm gonna try and be a little bit cheeky here and just run very, very, very far away from the Zerg base. All the way to the top left natural main. The Overlord is gonna see it. Are we? Oh, okay. Maybe it was just a click it out, shift, click it back in type of situation. We just used all the way to the top left for that. I could see that. Because then the probe's going to come back in. And actually, if you do that with minerals and vision, so like say you have your probe like here, or like, you know, here or something like that, you could tell it to move here and then shift right click on the minerals. And what will happen is the probe will move all the way up here and then it will mineral walk back into the main. So that way, even if they block the ramp, like you get in no matter what. It looks like that wasn't quite the case here, and with that, Boab is able to actually intercept that probe with the 2 lings and catch it before it can get up there. But we see the third hatchery. We saw the sunken colony for Protoss. So, okay, scout, but we didn't get to see the tech, right? Because we didn't quite get into the main there. Yeah, as you just have to have vision of the minerals when you issue the order. If you do that, then it will mineral walk back. Actually, that gets utilized sometimes in TVP. Terran players will do that because, like, if you try to block your ramp with the Dragoon, like say the Terran comes in, sees the gateway, sees the core, nothing's come out yet unit-wise, you can run the SCV away, and then if you have minerals and vision and do that trick, you can get back in if they block the ramp with the Dragoon. I think this is just a 2-hole wall. And it is blocked here. We have +1 on the way. We have leg speed on the way. So we'll probably see a +1 leg speed zealot move out. Corsair is on the way, so the Corsair will get to scout. We did get a Spire again, just like in game 1, but now we're also getting it in. But we are, instead of Scourge, this time we are going for Mutalisks. The Den may also just be getting placed as part of the wall, but if we're going Mutalisks, I wouldn't mind seeing a... I guess you don't need the Evolution Chamber if you're going air that fast. And so the first front part of the Mutalisks actually just ran past that Corsair, but one Corsair I don't think is going to be able to deal with this amount of Mutalisks. And yeah, the probe's trying to run back to the safety of where there are cannons, and good job of Boab jumping on the Corsair there. The Zealots are going to move out. They're going to try and apply some pressure and maybe force the Mutalisks to return home. Of course, they're running back to the safety of the cannon there, but we do have Zealots running in here. The thing is, there's a sunken, there's a good Sim City here, there's a second sunken, but they're able to get into this main here. And they might be able to try and pick off some drones, but the... Ooh, and the Scourge camped right on top of the Stargate. Catch that Corsair as it comes out. Zealots in the main trying to get as many drones as they can. But yeah, I think the Zealots, or the Zerglings, are going to be able to clean this up. And with that, I mean, this main is effectively just going to be dead. Oh, the second pylon just out of range of powering that Stargate. That's so unfortunate. I mean, even though they are targeting it down, I think that Corsair could have finished if that second pylon had been powering it. So we're going to go ahead and try and throw down a Stargate here, but I think this is like a losing proposition at this point for Yoitsflash. There's been so much damage. The probe count's been reduced all the way to 21. But now that the Mutalisks are up here, there's a drone trying to sneak into this main here. Like, maybe I can power the Stargate, but the Mutalisks being very wise here. We're just going to go ahead and pivot to the natural. And really, like, the Mutalisks don't need to try and deal damage down here. They can just kind of clear out this main. More Mutalisks flying in here. And we might be getting our second game on Yoitsflash for this set. Nexus is going to fall. And that's actually going to supply block Yoitsflash. Going to get one more Sair out, but there's no other Sairs on the map. But try to hide down there. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no. We're heading up to this top right, and Boab doing a good job getting a Zergling up there, so... Unless we take this natural and Boab never checks it. That is a possibility. So Yoitsflash doing what they need to do to try and create comeback chance here, but it's going to get found. The Zergling is going to go ahead and check this natural, finds the pylon. And I don't think Boab's really going to be able to get an answer to Mutalisk Cap. I mean, unless they can find some way to secure this main again, I just don't see how, with this getting discovered, Yoitsflash is going to, like, create that comeback chance. I mean, you say you stayed way too long in this game, but, like... You've still got an economy, you still have a base, you can still make units, like, I can see staying in. But yeah, the lurkers come in here, you don't have a place to put, like, observer tech. Really, like, you're really, really tight on space. Like, and if he got, Overlord speed and, drops were researched, like, a couple lurkers up here on the ramp would probably just be the game, I think. Yeah, this front's gonna get busted down. Yeah, at the moment it is really not looking good for Yoitsflash. I really like the attempt at the secret base, but that was good by Boab to catch that. That Zergling's still going around the map, just checking that top left now. I mean, we have some Corsairs, but with the lurkers at the front, the Mutalisk's running all the way up to this top right for some reason. Excuse me. Like a hiccup there. I don't think, oh yeah, the camera froze at some point again. So, camera freezing not fixed. Unless, like, maybe... There's a power setting I can check after this game real quick. Maybe it will, like, one power setting reset the as before. I mean, we're gonna try and fly in here. We're gonna try and snipe some overlords, but like we're trying to do something, but there just really isn't a whole lot of opportunity here. Like, we need to get this main reestablished. And with the Corsairs out here trying to find and harass overlords, like, the Mutalisks are going to be free to just come in and deny this main again. Oof, that's a lot of Scourge. Oh dear. Run away, run away, run away! Ooh, one Scourge connects, the Mutalisks come up. Yeah, now the Lurkers are just going to charge forward here. There's enough of them. Yeah, Zerg feels they have enough. They can just charge in. It's 28 to 96 supply now. GG, well played from Yoitsflash. And the series will be tied up by boab there. And really quick, before we get into game 3, I'm going to go ahead and check if a particular power setting got modified. While I enjoy my last grasshopper cookie. No? USB selective suspend setting is disabled. Hybrid sleep. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, not sure why this is still happening. So I'll have to do some more research on it. See if I can't resolve it. But with the tied up series, we're going to be getting into our last game here today. It's going to be on Yoitsflash, our second time visiting the map today. Let's go ahead and get to it. Right in the top spawn, we have Yoitsflash spawning as the red Zerg. Down in the bottom right, in the blue Zerg, we have boab, and we don't have a drone. You know, something that we really haven't seen in this set of Tier 1 games is any real cheese. I mean, we almost saw cheese against AK, Proxy Gate. I guess you could still maybe call that cheese, but like, it wasn't like proxy tech or anything. But this is a 4-on-4 pool. This is the cheese of cheese, man. So you don't even get a drone. You don't even go 5 pool. No, you're going 4 pool here. We don't even make a 4th drone after making this pool. No, we just make the pool, and then we're gonna make the. Oh no, okay, we don't. Sorry, we just didn't have the money for it. But now that we do, we're making it. It's gonna into that drone. We'll go ahead and start mining. And it looks like we're getting one base play again from Yoitsflash, so that's probably going to give Yoitsflash the best opportunity to deflect this. We have a gateway coming down, so I'm guessing we're probably going to do one base, 2 gateway again. But is the drone going to scout in the right direction to see this coming? And it looks like the probe is. So we're going to get the first scout. We're going to see the Zerglings on the way unless they take some sort of funky path. But I think the drone's going to get into a position where that's not even going to be possible. We have our second gateway coming down as well. The Zerglings are out. They're going to meet the probe, nibble on the probe shields. And then really, like, yeah, this probe can, I was going to say, can go back into the main here because those Zerglings are going to want to zoom straight to the Protoss base. And with the angle that probe is coming in at, these drone, I think the Zerglings can safely assume, okay, yeah, that top base. But this probe can start tickling a drone and sort of force boab's attention onto that probe a bit. And the 2 Zerglings are going to force it back, but unfortunately, yeah, I could not get enough. Maybe could have pulled some probes to go ahead. Oh, the Zealot gets stuck because of the probe. I probably could have pulled the probes and actually held this front here a little bit. Some damage being applied to the gateway, but I think the Zergling or the Zealots are going to get Okay, as long as we don't really take worker damage, I think we'll be okay. And Graffin with the raid, thank you very much. We're actually on our last game right now, and it is a 4-pull against a 2-gate. Yeah, now, there we go, Boab just going ahead and GGing out. I'm going to assume that was a ally chat GG. Nicely played there by Yoitsflash to deflect that 4-pull, but I feel like with a 2-gate in base like that, it's your build choice, that kind of really helps you out there. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's cast. That wraps up week 1 of the playoffs, with NSCV moving on. Cattlebruisers unfortunately being eliminated from the playoffs. And with that, tomorrow, I believe Aaron, in the evening Eastern time, is going to kick us off for week 2. Maybe I'll do a daytime cast sometime, not tomorrow, but like sometime this week or something like that. We'll see what's up, if it's in the cards or not. It's been fun getting back in the caster seat. It's been fun with the new camera setup, even if it freezes. I gotta figure that out. I thought I had it figured out. I don't have it figured out. I said that like 10 times already. It's frustrating when it happens. I'll try some more stuff to see if I can get it fixed. But thank you everybody for tuning in. It was a blast. Thank you, Forte, for filling in for my set, because I really don't like casting my own games. I don't mind showing off my own replays, but actually like casting, I feel like I can't really do a good job if it's my own game. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I'm gonna look to see who we can raid. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the scoreboard back up again, so that way we can have that to the end of the stream here. Twitch.tv. No, sorry, Graffin's viewers that just joined in. You happened to tune in just at the end of the cast here. I'm gonna see if I can find out Starcraft. I mean, there is Artosis. But he already has so many viewers. Let's see who we can maybe jump to. If there's any other names I recognize. So Quark is streaming. Quark only has 5 viewers. Did he just start? I thought he usually gets more viewers than that. No, I'll send the raid over to Quark. Again, thanks everybody for hanging out, for tuning in. It was fun. And I'll see y'all next time. Until then, take care.